we are joined by head coach Chris Tamas, Averie Hernandez, and Kayla Burbage.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. I'm going to echo those sentiments by Sloan. I mean, again, we started this, and I think there's about 3 or 4 of you in the room, and now we're up to, looks like 20, 30, something like that. So it just kind of shows, the amount of investment that the Big Ten's putting into this and that you all put into this, and we can't do this if we don't have you all here. So I really do appreciate the coverage, and it's year number 9 for me coming up. I'm excited as ever. I mean, every year is different, and we have 6 freshmen, we had 3 transfers coming in, but we had an awesome spring. We had, they tell me a good summer as well. So I'm really excited to get working with this group, and looking forward to keep doing what we've been doing all these years.
All right, questions for the Fighting Illini, and please state your name and your outlet, please. We'll pass around
the mic. Abby Harris, the Go Big Red cast. You guys are playing Vanderbilt early in the season, a team that is in their inaugural season of volleyball. What are some of the challenges that you anticipate playing a team that 2 other teams will have played by that point?
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. I mean, they have a whole, year, almost 2-year run up to their season, and I know Anders fairly well, came from a good program, and I know that they're putting investment in the program too. So again, talking about the game growing, it's awesome to see another program added to the team. I expect good competition. They're in the SEC. They've done a great job with recruiting without having a season first, and they've had a foreign trip and everything else. So I expect them to be as good as any team that we're going to play this preseason, and looking forward to a good battle.
Other questions for Illinois?
Lincoln Arneal, Huskers Illustrated. Kayla, you're back. It's been a long journey to get here. What has that been like for you, and what's been your motivation to use your 5th year to come back and get back on the court?
Yeah, I think one word that keeps coming up is just I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to come back. I transferred into Illinois after my freshman season, and I think sometimes when you are in that situation, I feel like it's really easy to get timid, and I'm so appreciative of the people that I'm surrounded with every single day. They've pushed me to be better and better, and I think when I was approached with the opportunity to come back for my 5th year, I think Illinois was a no-brainer for me. I think I've developed more and more on the court, off the court, and they've set me up really well for post-grad life as well. So I'm just so thankful that I get to be surrounded by amazing people every single day. So I'm excited.
Coach, I'll throw one at you. When you are playing without someone who's one of the all-time greats in your program, in Raina Terry, and trying to find that production again, what are you seeing so far in terms of that kind of filling that hole?
Yeah, she's a big one to lose. All-time leader in aces, all-time leader in kills. You just don't replace the Raina Terry. But what I can tell you is, I've worked with several great players over the years, and I know it's always about the team. And so, that player or that leadership doesn't exist in that vacuum. It's up to, players like Averie and Kayla to step up and take the challenge of, what we need to do as a team. And so we've always preached that, and that message doesn't change with us. And, like I said, we had an awesome spring, and I'm just really looking forward to the new, journey that we're on. Every year's a new journey, and, based on what we've seen in the spring, I mean, I'm really excited for it. So as big of a loss as it may seem on paper, I always think that the gain or the challenge is to try to do it all over again. And we've done that for several years, and we look forward to continuing to do it again.
I'll ask both the players as well what Coach is talking about with taking that mantle from someone who put up such great numbers and was such an important leader for this team.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, it's been such a privilege to learn under Raina too. I think she provided a lot for us, obviously from a skill standpoint, and putting a lot of points on the board. I think we were all challenged in the spring to find new ways to score. We lost our workhorse, and we're so happy that she's able to continue her career after in professional volleyball, but we knew that we all had to step up. I think Chris kind of hit it perfectly. There's people that are going to be in new roles, some young talent that have to step up, and I think we're all ready for the challenge. We've seen it this spring, we've seen it this summer.
Yeah, just to second that statement, I feel like even transferring in, she was a great person to learn from, and I definitely take, some of the things she taught me and apply that to now helping the group as well. And yeah, I'm super excited for our newcomers. I think we have a really solid foundation and culture that we're creating even since the spring. And like Chris was saying earlier, I feel like we've really tried to implement more of that over the summer. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a really exciting challenge to be able to, have a group of people go off of their own strengths and try and apply that to the greater good of the group. So I think that's something super exciting to look forward to as well.
Another question for all three of you too is several other teams are in this spot as well of having to integrate a new setter and what that process is like and how you're feeling so far at this point when it comes to that adaptation and the reps required.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No,
I
you
was
go
just
first.
going to
You
say, Kenna's been a great addition to our group. I think as well as the things we're just talking about, like everyone's strengths coming together as one whole group is something that's really, really exciting. And she's definitely, put her head down and worked through all of it. And I think, adapting well, and we're all hitting off of her well. And I think it's going really great, to be quite honest. But just another person that's, wanting to apply to the greater good. So I think it's going really well.
I was going to say off of that as well. Oh, sorry. I was going to say off of that as well. I think in general we have 3 people that are kind of vying for that setting spot as well, and I think they all 3 do a really good job of pushing each other every single day. I think they know that it's going to be a battle for who gets that final spot, and they're all ready for the challenge. There's not a day that any 3 of them come in and are kind of dragging their feet. They are the people that are pushing us the most in the gym every single day.
Where's the mic?
Justin Schutte, Purdue side. This is for all 3 of you. You get the opportunity to, I think it's cutting in and out. You get the opportunity to start the season at Bridgestone Arena, and then you're one of 3 teams that is going into Mackey Arena at Purdue. Just talk about the how you're embracing those opportunities, and then what it means, for the growth of the sport to be playing in some of these venues that host 15,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, just a tribute to the growth of the game, and you want to be a part of those events, right? And we want to be out there. We want to be on TV. We want to be exposed to the game to as many people as we can. I mean, we see internal numbers every year from the Big Ten. I mean, if you look at even just the TV coverage, it's outstanding. Let alone now, like you're saying, you're having these big events. People are hosting into their basketball arenas, and you want as many eyes as you can on the game. And as we travel the country and recruit and go to these tournaments where you've got 10,000 kids at a tournament, looking up to you, knowing who you are, it's just a big deal in terms of growth of the game. And for me, it's just, coming from men's volleyball back in the day when you've got maybe 100 people in the stands, I'll take 15,000 any day of the week. And I know, it can maybe seem like more pressure or whatever, but we played in the Big Ten long enough, or this is every single night in the Big Ten. So to have these bigger events that we're able to be a part of and help showcase the game and University of Illinois, more the merrier.
Another question, Lee, and then right behind.
Averie, you got to play against your sister last year.
Yeah.
That must have been fun. Can
Yeah.
you talk about that, and then also what it's like to grow up in your family with all of the people who play sports at a high level?
Yeah, just to start, I'm so beyond grateful for my family and just, the support they've had for me all the way through. I think to go through transferring and all of the chaos that comes with, and then to be able to have the familiarity with playing a family member is crazy. And I think, going into it, I wasn't too sure, we didn't know going into it, but I think the fact that Cindy's also going through her freshman year, or had gone through her freshman year, it was exciting for her to be able to have our whole family and other supporters that we've had come to that game and watch us play each other, which was such a fun experience. But yeah, I think back to the grateful statement with my family, my parents do such a great job of just keeping us humble, but also keeping us motivated to become the best version of ourselves. And I think that comes from them both, being athletes in college, but also just being one of 5 kids. It's super fun to have, the brothers and sisters who kind of push you to get better as well. And I think being able to go past high school with that too has been a super cool experience. So.
This is for Coach and Kayla. So we're seeing on the roster this year, Kayla switching over to middle. If you guys could just talk about what went into making that decision and how has that transition been so far this summer?
Yeah, great question. Good observation, too. So Kayla had shoulder surgery last year, and we didn't know what her timeline for a return was, and kind of just based on how recovery came up and, the kind of the load that the shoulder can take, the being an opposite again was maybe not in the cards. And so about halfway through October, she jumped back into practice, and long story short, started dominating everyone in the middle. And we're like, okay, KB, how about we do this again? But let's think about going back to the middle. And sometimes you get some pushback because maybe you don't want to change back, right? We brought you here to be an opposite. And she looks at us like, yeah, I like this a lot. And if I can say a word to these kids, maybe, they probably know LFG. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So
yeah, for sure. The transition has been great. I played a little bit of middle back in like my club and high school days, so it's kind of like riding a bike in a way, like just getting right back into it. But I love it. I'm trained by one of the best middles coaches in the country. She's done great things. I'm pushed by really, really good middles every single day to get better. But yeah, it just feels natural to be back there. Always been more of a defensive-minded person, so being able to get back into that mindset has been awesome. Shoulder surgery as well. It's just been great. Everything feels fluid, and I'm ready to go for the season for sure.
Chris, volleyball was one of the 4 sports your AD singled out that will receive money from revenue sharing. One, what did you have to do to make that case to them? And 2, how will that impact program building, roster building going forward?
Yeah, I mean, they came to me and said this is just something we're invested in, and obviously they've been invested in us for several years, since my whole time there. And so the fact that we're considered for that, and I know several other schools in the conference, if not all of us, are in line for that as well. It just shows where the sport's at. And again, going back to the amount of eyeballs that are on the sport, and you all that are helping push that as well. I just think it's the right thing to do, and so we've always been supported by Illinois, and the fact that we're in this capability and have the capability to do this, you start to have become a little bit more like a general manager now, and how do you design your rosters based on what you're given, and it's a fun new challenge that we're facing, but it's great for these players because I do think they deserve it, and we're happy to be a part of it.
Just to follow up on that, how does that impact maybe your approach to the transfer portal and managing and navigating that now, knowing that the path is clear? Okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've seen it already in the case of NIL, not just obviously with football and basketball, but as the years go by, you're just seeing more people kind of interested in just wanting to be at this level. And I think the money aspect of it's great, but to me it's more the opportunity to play in the Big Ten and play at a big level. That's really what we're seeing, and so yeah, you got to be aware of that. And like I said, we are new. We have some transfers with us. We have 3 transfers, and I think that's just a part of the game. And you can go down all of our rosters in the Big Ten and see the same thing. It's nothing that's in particular to us. It's just how the sport's evolving, and I think it's just a new challenge that us coaches have to kind of weigh out and try to figure out how to construct those rosters. Maybe it's a little bit more on a yearly basis, 2-year basis. It's obviously we still have long-term plans, visions, everything else. You want kids that really fit your values, your culture. That's the first thing we look for. And then if we can, aid that with some rev share or NIL, I mean, that's what we're trying to do. But I just think it's one of those things. It's a great option to have, and we're happy to be a part of it.
Other questions for Illinois? Oh, a couple more here. Yep.
Yeah, I got into it when I was younger, and I actually didn't know much about it. My mom played volleyball in college, and I was like, let's just see how it goes. I was really tall as a 12-year-old, so that helped. And yeah, I kind of just fell in love with it from there. By 13's year, I was traveling. We went to a couple tournaments further away in like Florida and stuff. That was a fun experience, being able to, be around those other girls in your team. And I think at a young age, I really realized how much of a team sport it actually is, which is my favorite part of volleyball. And so ever since then, I stuck with it, and I'm super excited I'm super happy my mom put me in the sport, because I probably wouldn't have, stuck with it as long as I did if she didn't. So.
Yeah, I think my path was a little bit different too. I played pretty much any sport you can think of besides volleyball up until high school, and then I'm from North Carolina, so I kind of got tired of wearing hot softball pants in like the 90-degree heat. So I switched over to volleyball. Pretty much immediately fell in love with it. My family loves it. My sister plays now, but again, I think going back to like the team atmosphere, it is the ultimate team sport, and I think it's just so fun to really have a bunch of people together that are all working towards a common goal. So I think that was the thing that really attracted me to volleyball.
And every volleyball player hates running.
Yes, that too. True.
Question for student journalists. There's one back here. I just wanted to circle back over to the middle. Ashlyn obviously had a phenomenal freshman season. What have you seen kind of change with her heading into her second year now that she is more, I guess, equipped for Big Ten level?
Yeah, she had an awesome season. All freshman Big Ten, and I think it's, for me, no matter what year you are, the challenge is to get better every single time you step on that floor. And again, the makeup of the team changes a little bit as well. And we had several challenges for her in the spring, but man, that kid just competes and just works hard every single time she's on the floor. And so a lot of it for her, it was just about adding some more pieces to her skill set, become a better blocker. She's a phenomenal attacker off 1 foot, and just try to add layers to her game, and challenge all of our players here to always add those layers. I think sometimes when you start talking about freshmen going into having successful sophomore campaigns, you can talk about maybe the sophomore slump or something like that. But with her, I don't foresee that. I think some of that becomes a mentality piece, and some version of expectation that you may have for yourself. For her, she just gets after it. We talk a ton about one of our pillars is just being in the moment, and she's really good about just every single rep. She's getting after it and working as hard as she can, and she does a great job.
Tedrick with the volleyball project. Where were you two, the players, Averie and Kayla? Where were you when their schedules were released, and how excited were you? And who did you text first?
Ooh, that's a good question. I honestly don't. I think I was just at home. But yeah, I mean, obviously my family members wanted to hear about it, and so I would probably text my mom and dad first, knowing that I wasn't with them. But other than that, extended family always wants to hear about it too. So we have a little extended family group chat, so I sent a little text there. And then, yeah, I mean, my siblings are usually pretty interested too, but I mean, they have social media, so they see it all the time. But
I know the first person I 100% texted was my Aunt Michelle. She lives out in LA County, so she's been waiting and waiting and waiting for us to play anywhere near her. So being able to go out to UCLA and USC this year, she's already marked down her calendar. It's actually my cousin's birthday that same weekend, so it's going to be a family affair. But yeah, that was definitely the first text I made.
We have time for one more question. We'll go to another seat.
My name is Lonnie Jackson and Milton. You guys are, how do you balance academics and what resources students?
Yeah, I just want to say the support you get as an athlete pretty much anywhere is phenomenal, just in terms of helping you manage academics and athletics. I think with any questions you have or concerns you have, going to really anyone, a coach, a sports psychologist, an academic advisor, they'll find a way to help you, which I think is a good thing to remember, considering, we have to travel. There's a lot of stressful situations happening. But yeah, I think they do a great job of supporting you with any questions you need. And depending on, what your major is, if you need more support than another athlete, they've got you covered with tutors and other things like that. And other than that, I think managing, being able to have those conversations with the loved ones you need to have. I feel like I talk a lot about, I'm close to home from Champaign, so making sure I take the time to, on a Sunday, on a weekend, going home, seeing my family for a little bit, or having those phone calls with your family members always helps me. But yeah, other than that, I think Illinois specifically does a great job with helping student athletes manage athletics and academics.
Yeah, and I think I'm done with undergrad, so I'm in grad school now, and I think one of the reasons, again, that I chose Illinois is they have done a great job with the player development aspect of it. I feel like I'm really, really equipped to enter the real world when I'm done with collegiate athletics at some point. But yeah, I just think their player development programs at Illinois are top tier, and you can see it with all the student athletes we have.
All right, it looks like we're about out of time. I think we got to send off the Fighting Illini. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Let's welcome in the defending national champions, Penn State Nittany Lions, head coach Katie Schumacher-Cawley. Gillian Grimes and Izzy Starck here.
Sorry. Sorry, guys. Let me get settled first. Don't press play yet.
Coach, if you would just want to start with an opening statement, we'll open up to questions here. And again, please state your name and affiliation, please.
No, as always, it's great to be back in Chicago. Like to thank Commissioner Petiti, Grace, Sue, and everyone affiliated with Big Ten that provides this day for these players. It's really special, and I'm happy that Jill and Izzy are here with me. They're excited to be here, and we're looking forward to this season. But thank you, everyone, for being a part of it.
Questions for Penn State? Just raise your hand. We'll bring the mic over to you. We'll start with Lee over here.
Gillian and Izzy, how or if did your lives change by winning a national championship?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just mostly a dream come true. I think every little girl dreams of winning a national championship, and just getting to do that like with your best friends and like our whole family's there. I think that was just really a dream come true.
You got new rings.
Yeah, I think the same thing. It's like everyone wishes when they're younger that they're going to be at that level and going to win a national championship, and the fact like I got to do it with my best friends and my sister, it's just like the craziest thing that could happen. And you know, we're in grocery stores now in State College, and people come up to us, which didn't happen before, so that's pretty cool too.
Just raise your hand. Oh, over here in the corner.
Sorry. Sarah Barber, Sporting News. Coach, obviously last year was a very incredible year for you professionally and personally. What are you kind of thinking going into this new season? How have you changed, if at all, in terms of your coaching philosophy?
Well, I have a new hairdo this year, so
That's good.
no, I mean, sure, there's perspective with everything, and I don't think I've changed a lot in the gym with these guys. I think it's more of just always being present and enjoying the little things, and they know they need to put in the work and the time to be great, and they hold each other accountable. But no, I think the standard's still the same, and we're looking forward to it.
Coach, when you see a player like Kennedy come into the transfer portal, who are you talking to? What conversations you have, and how fast does that process move?
Yeah, well, I mean, we recruited Kennedy the first time around, so we had a prior relationship with her, and of course she's an exceptional player, but she's a great person, and I really enjoyed her the first time around. So, we got on the phone with her pretty quick, and I think she only had a couple places that she really wanted to look at, and we were one of them. Had her and her family on campus, and the rest is history. So we'll see what she's got this year.
Tedrick with the volleyball project. This is for all three of you. What were your moments like after winning the championship? Those 48 hours. What did you guys do and go through?
Yeah, I think we were just celebrating as a team, but it was also like very close to Christmas, so it's very just like a bunch of events after another. So I think we kind of really, it all like soaked in and like settled in when we came back from Christmas break. I kind of think us just like still celebrating as a team, but also just like very grateful for everything.
Yeah, I think the first like 48 hours was just like complete shock. You didn't really like know what happened because that whole week was just like one big whirlwind of emotion. So it really didn't soak in until, for me, when we got landed at the airport and drove back to Rec Hall with like everyone outside of Rec that was still in State College just because it was right before Christmas and everything. I think when you just see all those people like out there supporting you, it's just like you kind of realize what you just did and how cool it was.
I'm sorry to interrupt real quick. I see the rings on your hands. You want to show those off real quick?
Oh, yeah. It opens up, too.
Oh, wow. Okay, back to questions. Caught my eye. Sparkly.
Abby Harris, Go Big Red Cast. Do you feel any pressure now that you've won a national championship to do it again? And what is kind of the mindset to keep the team kind of grounded in the moment, not letting that get too much to the players?
No, I mean, I think our goal is to always win, and these guys have really high expectations, but you can do everything right and still fall short. So I think it's just coming to work every day and being prepared and being the best teammates they can be. And we do want to win again. And is it pressure? I think it's fun for these guys, and I think they've handled themselves very well on and off the court, and that matters.
Yeah, I think there's always just been pressure for us, so I think coming into this season, it's just the same mindset we always have of how we work hard with each other, how we push each other. So I definitely think winning the national championship last year does help us because, we know what it takes and we know how to help the new players in the program of how we can be the best functioning team together.
Yeah, I think it's just, as they both said, it's the same standard. Like, you come to Penn State, you want to win, and obviously coach does a great job of recruiting people who want to be there and who want to win. So it's kind of really fun to play with everyone on the court who is super competitive and wants to win. So it kind of just all fits in.
For Katie, just what was your reaction to the recent deal or agreement that was reached allowing schools to directly pay the athletes? And just how does that change the landscape for you and for the players? Kind of a similar question. How are you guys dealing with that with the school, and what's the balance between dealing directly with the school versus the collectives?
Yeah, I mean, I think our athletic director, Pat Kraft, and Adam, who's here with us today, I think Penn State's always been forward thinking, and they are ahead of the game and know what's going on, and I think they do the right thing for our athletes, and they put our athletes first. A school like Penn State, our alum are the best, and they want to see us be successful. So, it doesn't change what we're doing as a team and as a program and as a culture of our players. It's exciting that they can be rewarded and do some NIL activities and have some more shopping money or nail money, whatever it is they're doing. But it's a really unique time in college athletics, and I'm happy that the women can get a piece of it.
Amanda Perkowski, Can TV. Izzy, as a freshman, you got pretty much every title there is individually and also as a team. Kind of what are you working toward? What is your motivation this year going forward as a sophomore for your season?
Yeah, I think just last year just set the expectation for myself even higher. I've had a season that I could never have dreamed of that was going to happen. So I think going in this new season, I set my expectations where I want to be, how I can be better, how can I be a better teammate. And I think just looking at this season ahead of me, I'm just really excited to see how our team can be and how I can accomplish even more. And, it's a whole new fresh start. Everything that happened last season doesn't carry over into this season. Everyone starts with a 0 record, and just seeing how I can adapt to how it changes this year.
Sales, Dignity Volleyball. Gillian, what impressed you the most about Izzy's freshman season, and how have you seen her improve?
Yeah, I mean, Izzy's awesome. She honestly, probably everyone dreams of having a freshman start in season like Izzy does, but she also, she deserves it, and she works so hard. So I expect nothing less of her throughout this season too. So I think. Yeah, she's always in the gym, always grinding, and is such a great teammate. So she's just really fun to have in my life and also play with her on the side of the court.
Jake Haley, Sports Philanthropy Network. Congrats on the championship, coming off that win. How have you guys been using your platform to give back to the community, certain activities that you do to build that relationship with a community that supports you guys so much?
Yeah, we've a few of us this past summer, we went to the Children's Hospital at Hershey Park, and it was just kind of really cool to see those kids and that they are fighting for something much bigger than even a national championship. So just us going there and seeing and trying to be a part of that really also soaks it in and grounds us a little bit too, which is good. Yeah, just being able to work with kids and talk with them, being able to have the experiences that we have,
just take time out of our day just to sit there and have personal conversations with them about any question they have, I think just is like really cool because you were in their shoes when you were younger, so doing anything you can to help them to get to the level they want to be at.
Gillian, the league all preseason conference team, you're the only libero in a conference that usually has an inordinate number of really good liberos. Are you surprised? Not that you made it, but you're the only libero.
Oh, I actually did not know that at all. So yeah, I did not know that. But no, it's like, what'd you say?
It's been out.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. But no, yeah, I'm excited for the season. I mean, couldn't be on that list without my teammates and without my coaches, so I'm really happy for that.
It's more about no one but liberos. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Kate, which one? And which one were you more nervous for? And which one means more? ESPYs? Throwing out the first pitch.
Oh, jeez. Let's see. We'll see if I screw that one up this weekend. No, I mean it's all exciting and fun. I was pretty nervous at the ESPYs though, but I enjoyed it and was happy my entire family was able to be there, and the 5 seniors that were on the team last year were able to share in that with the assistant coaches as well, Brian, Mike, and Meg, and we had such a great time together. So it was good. But I'll let you know after Saturday.
Yeah, but when you were a kid, you didn't think about going on the
Oh,
ESPYs.
no.
You thought
God,
about
no.
going first
Yeah,
pitch.
no, not at all. No, it's overwhelming the amount of activities, but I'm happy to be back in Chicago.
Hi, Maisie Garrett, US 7. So for Gillian and Izzy, looking back at the last season, reflecting on the year you guys all experienced as a team, what your coach was going through personally, what is something that you have each learned from your coach?
Yeah, I think the little things matter, and like also just sticking with the people around you, and like they're gonna make you stronger and better like as a team. And like I think we kind of like lean on her a lot, and like we gave her the opportunity to have her lean on us, just like trying to make sure that like you stay close and like keep your loved ones close too.
Yeah, I think it's just like what she always echoes to me is just enjoy the moment and just like be in the moment. I remember in the Final Four match, it was when we were down 0-2 against Nebraska, and obviously as any normal person, I was really nervous, and it's a stressful situation. You don't know how you're gonna kind of do the next like end of the match, and I think Katie just came up to me and just said, just relax and enjoy the moment and enjoy like what's happening right now. And I think that just like it's a different perspective that I really like seeing at, because you just want to enjoy what you have in the moment right now and not what the actual outcome is going to be.
Coach, what makes Gillian and Izzy such great representatives for Penn State volleyball, but also the sport as a whole?
I think they're fine examples of, they're great student athletes and representations of Penn State in this program. I think it's the way they live their daily life. They're exceptional teammates, and we talk about that a lot on our team. Regardless of what's new in college athletics, we want that to stay the same. And so I think how they treat each other and the community, and they're competitors, they're fierce, and they're going to do some special things when they're done playing volleyball too.
I actually had a question I'm going to chime in with. Coach, saw the news that Maggie Mendelson is going to go back to being a 2-sport athlete. What were those conversations like with Coach Keegan? And her teammates can weigh in too about seeing her back, on the other hardwood.
Yeah, we're excited for Mags. She's passionate about playing both sports, and I'm proud of her for wanting to do it, and she's going to have a good time at Penn State. After our season. So she knows she's got some work to do on our side first, but no, I think she'll be a perfect fit for them. She's going to help them, and she has the love of the game.
Hi, Coach. How is this reminiscent of your national championship victory yourself, and then like going forward, what did you learn about your season back then that you carried forward as a coach and then into that season, kind of also leading into this upcoming one too?
Yeah. Well, that was really long ago when I won, so if that's what we're talking about. No, I think it's I mean, it's always surrounding yourself with great people, and we have some great players for sure, but I think they've made some really quality changes in what they do on and off the court together to have that chemistry. I mean, the season is relentless. This conference is top to bottom, the best around, and if you're not prepared and ready to go, you will lose. And so I think it's, I think just, taking every day and being prepared and getting better. We talk about getting better every day in the gym, whether you're in there for 2 hours or 45 minutes. You have to use your time and be focused and be present. And I think these guys will use what they learned last year to help these newcomers and with their experiences and be ready to go.
Season after you won, what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. A bunch of little kids like in front of me, like just trying to tell them that even like if you come from a small town, you can do big things like in college or like whatever you want to do. So I think just kind of being there and my family all being there, that actually like had me like it settled in while I was there.
Okay, Martin, All-American right side. You had Jervicius there last year. How do you plan to figure out who's playing where at the Penn?
Don't you want to know? Hey, we're gonna put the best lineup on the floor, and that's something I tell my players every semester. It's a new team, and if the goal is to win and to win the Big Ten and win a national championship, the best player is gonna be on the floor. So. CJ can play outside, right side. She can hit all along the net. She will make an impact. Kennedy will make an impact. Several players will score points for us, and it's competitive, and they know that. So, I mean, our players know that. It's nothing new to them. I mean, they want really good players to be on their team because they like to win and they like to compete, and so they're. Caroline will be just fine. Sure, she can. Yeah, she can hit all along the net as well. So, I haven't been in the gym with them yet. We'll start August 3rd when I get back from the Cubs game. But I know they've been in the gym. They've been doing stuff, and they've been competing together. And it'll be a special group.
For all three, what stands out about Emmy Selman and Gabrielle Nichols, and what were they able to accomplish in the spring with you guys?
I mean, I think it's great when, I think it's tough when the younger kids come early, but, that was something that Gabby wanted to do, and I think it's been great for her. It's been great having Emmy in the gym. It's spring semester just to get to know the players and get to know our routine a little bit and strength room, and I think it was really beneficial for them.
Yeah, I think they both bring such a competitive energy to the gym, and I think that's all like what we need. And like I said, Coach does a great job of recruiting players that want to be here and like are really competitive. So I think they just bring such like competitiveness to the team that is needed too.
Yeah, and I think just like the entire spring with both of them, like working on a connection and everything, it's hard to get new players and build that connection fast. But the nice thing about having them in the spring, I had this whole spring to build a bond, know what they want and everything, and I think it's made progress in a really great way, and we have a really good fluid system going right now.
Time for one more question for Penn State. All right, I think we'll say goodbye. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's now welcome in the Maryland Terrapins head coach Adam Hughes, AJ Malual, and Eva Rohrbach, who are joining us right now. Coach, an opening statement from you, please. And again, if you have a question, please state your name and your outlet, please.
Just excited to be here. I feel like I'm becoming one of the vets. It's every time we come here, it's a little bit of just a reminder of how much the sport has grown and how thankful we are for this opportunity. Going into this season, college sports is changing. The Big Ten keeps getting better and better, and there's a lot of great storylines all over the place. And our goal as a program is to create a storyline for ourselves. And we've got a special group that's put in a lot of good work this spring. It's going to look a lot different than it has probably in the past, but very, very excited to get started.
All right, questions for the Terrapins here in the room. And of course, if you're joining on Zoom too, make sure to put those questions in the chat, and I'll get to those. We'll start with Lincoln.
Lincoln Arnett, Husky Start. Adam, you mentioned college sports is changing. One of the big changes, the house settlement, now the pay the players. How has that impacted how you go about roster development, and how has it impacted your program as a whole?
Yeah, we're trying to limit it as much as possible while also participating. I'm thankful for Jim Smith, our new AD, continuing to support volleyball. I think even behind the commissioner's vision for where this thing is headed, we had a great meeting as a head coaches group in February, and it was incredible to hear the vision of what college volleyball could be for the Big Ten. And making sure that we can hang in that and make sure that we're supported. We're thankful for that. But the reality is we want to make sure we don't lose sight on, the people that are in there, the culture. We don't want to get stuck into dollars and cents as much as we possibly can. And, so far I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
I have a question for AJ. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the Italian national team and playing in that system, and how that really describes your game.
Oh, that was like a long time ago. It was kind of like 2018. It has like been the peak of my time when I was playing in Italy as I was still in high school. I feel like it made me grow so much as a player, both on and off the court, and I feel like it gave me such a different perspective of what Italian volleyball style kind of looks like. And, we got to face, different countries, and so it was a little bit of an introduction to what it was coming in America and playing college volleyball.
And Coach, wanted to ask you too about losing the production of Sam Sire and Samantha Schnitta, two leaders on this team as well, and what you're seeing so far from this squad in terms of refilling that production and the kind of roles they had.
Yeah, we have a great balance of what the program and what the team looks like right now. Eva is one of our vets. She's been with us. She's been committed to us for a long time. She's had 2 good years, and we're hoping she can take a huge step this year and have a great season. We've got a great core that's coming back. Last year, we had 5 super seniors and 3 regular seniors. We had 8 departures, and we rolled the dice with those guys and hoping that we could capitalize on having 3 good seasons in a row. Last year wasn't a good year for us, and we're trying to be resilient and bounce back. But I think the staff and the program as a whole did a really good job of making sure we found the right pieces, the things that we needed to replace in this offseason. We're not trying to buy time and just be young. We wanted to have a chance to be good this year. And, I feel like we've done a really good job bringing in not just good players, but good people. And it's been a good spring for us.
Eva, Coach kind of hit on a little bit there too. I mean, you lost a lot of experience, a lot of 5th-year, 6th-year players. How do you go about filling that leadership void, and who has stepped up to kind of take on those leadership roles?
Yeah, great question. I think the ladies who left us last year did a great job prepping the underclassmen for how to step into the leadership role, especially Zoe and Samantha Schnitta. Amazing teammates and great role models that I look up to and hope to fill their shoes and do the same. They did an amazing job prefacing it for us, and so now it's our role to step into it and, take it home.
What does that look like? How do you go? How are you doing this summer? How do you do that?
I think for me personally, being more of a vocal piece on this team, I tend to lead by example. I feel like I always have just in actions, but I would like to also be vocal in this season with my words and bringing everyone together, huddles, locker room, weightlifting,
It's definitely one thing that I've enjoyed with the change in college sports. You get someone organically that's been in the program, knows kind of the norms. I think Eva's done a really good job of always reminding us that we want to raise the standard. We're not comfortable where we are. We want to keep moving this thing forward. But then you get this cool experience of bringing in people from various programs. We have 3 players coming from SEC programs, and they get to, one, remind you of the things that your program is really good at and why they're thankful that they're there. But they can also bring you tweaks or different ideas that can allow your program to keep evolving and changing. And for us, I think we've kind of leaned into that.
AJ is one of those players transferring from an SEC school. What can we be excited for when it comes to her game and how she might fill a role on your team?
Yeah, we had a really good offset last year in Samantha Schnitta, not just as a player, but as a person. And, she's got big shoes, but I think, in a short amount of time, AJ's done a phenomenal job adjusting and coming to Maryland. And I think she's been allowed to be herself. She's a different style of player. She's crafty. She's got great shot selection. She's played the game at a really high level. And same thing, even though that she's new, she's always talked about kind of raising the standard within the program. And, I'm thankful she's here.
AJ, what drew you to Maryland, and what are you excited about showcasing in a new environment?
Well, first of all, Coach Hughes, because talking to him has been so helpful. I feel like we had instant connection. I feel like I've been very clear with what I was looking for, what I value the most, and I feel like he embraces so much what Maryland volleyball is and what it can offer, and it's very welcoming when your goals aligns to what the program stands for. And so to me, my decision was really, really quick because I had no doubt that it was my place, both, volleyball-wise, location-wise, in terms of having, a new team, people's being young, wanting people to step on the court with, character and also bringing, something different. We have very different backgrounds in our team, and so I felt it was, the perfect place for me.
Yeah, the transfer portal in the winter break is pretty crazy, especially with the deadline. We have 2 weeks to make things happen, and I was happy to get AJ on board, but literally we were driving around the Washington Memorial at 11:50 trying to race people to their hotels before the midnight deadline. So a big shout out to the staff for putting in the work to do what they needed to do.
So it was as quick as she says it was?
AJ and I enjoyed some coffee, walking around DC. I always like having my family around. A lot of our athletes aren't around during that time, so they have to take kind of a leap of faith. But I always want to make sure that they know that I will treat them like one of my daughters.
I think we're going to open it up to a couple of our student journalists who are here as well. If we want to hand the mic, is anybody ready? Anyone want to jump in? Any volunteers? Okay, we'll bring the mic over here. Say your name, where you go to school, and then your question.
My name is Jasmine Calva, and I'm from Milton Brunson Elementary School. And I have a question on the players. Is there any suggestions from your coach that helped you improve greatly? Great feedback?
It's a great question.
I think Hughes is not the biggest, loudest coach. And so whenever he tells us something, it really sticks in my head. And so whenever, it's feedback, related to, something technical, about hitting, about blocking, about the energy on the court, I feel like whatever he says is just really impactful because it's not so much a lot. It's just very, one thing, that is what we got to work on. And I feel like it's really, really a great trait that he has.
Yeah, I think for me, the best thing I've learned from the coaches is them helping me balance being not just a volleyball player and seeing my identity as outside of that, and allowing that to translate into the court and keep my mindset calm, not too overbearing in volleyball thoughts, and yeah, just reminding me I'm a person too. I'm a student. Yeah.
Anything else from our students? All right, Coach, I had another question for you, too. You're one of several teams that is refilling that setter position, too. How is that process? And I'll ask the players, too. You're going through these workouts in summer about getting those repetitions, getting that acclimation, and kind of resetting at that role.
Yeah, we brought in a really good setter last year in Lily Wagner, and one of her goals was that if she didn't have a chance to kind of start at the beginning of the season, she wanted to have a 4-year career and make the most of it. So we got kind of into the middle of the start of the season and decided that was the best path to go forward. So it's just been nice to have someone that's already been within the program for a long time. She knows our verbiage, our language. She's done a good job acclimating and understanding just kind of the differences in humans and feedback loops. So yeah, I feel like that's not going to be that big of a challenge for us. There'll be some experience challenges as a freshman. We'll be, playing in these environments. This past spring, we actually took advantage of that, tried to play a couple different matchups, including at Penn State, and we just wanted to make sure we were trying to get ourselves in game-ready mode as much as possible. We're trying to do the same thing here in preseason. It's the first time we've actually played a scrimmage. I'm going to play my former assistant coach, AJ Benetti, in Georgetown, just to make sure that we're doing everything we can to be ready for match 1.
AJ, do you know Virginia Adriano, who's going to Nebraska? Have you played with her or friends with her?
No, not at all. But I heard about her.
We all did.
We'll find out soon.
Adam, your job's tough to begin with. It's a very hard job in this league. Have the events of the last 6-8 months made it harder, easier, the same?
In terms of
NCAA and all that's going on.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of unknowns still, I think the one thing that we've gotten more comfortable with is just change is going to keep happening. A lot of times the coaches talk about, have we finally hit a stabilization point? Have we finally hit somewhere that we can kind of figure out how to build? And I don't foresee that happening anytime soon anyway. So I feel like we learned our lessons during the COVID season of just, hey, adapt, keep adapting, keep changing. I feel like college athletics is going to continue to do that for a number of years. And, the one thing that is nice for us is that we don't have a ton of traditions that we have to hold on to. So we can keep adapting and trying to, catch up to what those norms are. So to be honest, I'm not sure where it goes. But yeah, I'm thankful we have a seat at this table because it's clear this is the best conference in the country. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Another question for Coach Hughes, especially with having 4 transfers, 3 from the SEC. What can we expect to see in terms of that identity of this team? Is there maybe any changes that you're looking to when you look to propel this team this coming season?
I think we're looking at it, or at least I'm looking at different. This year we switched to a 12-month model. And we wanted to make sure once we hit the ground running in January, it was about building the team from that jump. In the past, I think we used preseason as an opportunity to kind of figure out where we were. We're having more and more freshmen join us in the spring semesters anyway. We had 14 of 16 with us, and we felt like we did a lot of identity searching, kind of did a really good job from a staff standpoint, just reflecting on what things were working, what do we want to reteach, maybe try 2 or 3 different things. And now it's trying to use the preseason as a chance to prepare for that first match. In the past, I felt like the model was more about trying to learn a lot about ourselves, and I think we learned a lot this spring.
Abby Harris, Go Big Redcast. What are some of your goals for the season, both as a team and as individual players?
I'll kick off and just say, we didn't have a good season last year, but we have a good program. And, we've had some success, and it's a tough conference. And to me, there's different levels. There's championship level programs. Penn State just won last year. Nebraska won a couple years ago. Wisconsin's won. I mean, you're talking like elite levels. And then there's some great programs that are continually around the NCAA tournament. And then there's a bunch of us who are really, really good, and we feel like we've been able to kind of work our way up into that echelon, and we want to turn our program into being great. And, it's not an easy challenge, but we're taking that on, and that's why I love hearing this, where we have some homegrown talent talking about raising the standard, and we have some fresh talent coming in talking about raising the standard. And I think this group's got a lot of potential, and I'm really happy that the coaches kind of picked us low at the bottom, because it's nice to, leave a low profile.
Yeah, I think, was that a question for both of us?
Yeah, fire away.
Okay, so I think team-wise, our goals is, of course, win, of course, and staying at the top half of the conference. But I think what's the most important thing for us is not getting caught up into this chasing of like winning, but kind of losing our identity and our cohesiveness. And so I feel like our biggest challenge and goal at the same time is going to be to be consistent in doing that. And you can plan a season, in my opinion, as much as you want, but like it's a short time, but it goes by so fast, and you cannot control everything. And so I think it's about who adapt the faster without losing, themselves in the process, both as a team and individually. And so me, personally, is also aside from, technical goals, like swinging high, pressing with that block, not missing the serve when it's 14-14, I don't know. It's also going to be not only being a reliable teammate for my team, but also, I think, visualizing when things are going in a direction that it's really easy not to see, and being fast in identifying that, communicating that, and adapting to be able to reach our goals.
I would say just raising the standard for years to come. It's been a growing program, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it and leave it better for the next year and the next year. And it's been great growing through it and becoming an upperclassman now, and just want to lead this group and set the tone for this year and then seasons to come following.
I don't know where the mic is, but we had a question down here back here. Okay.
You've all kind of alluded to it, but there's so many connections, just in the volleyball world, in the Big Ten, where Adam, you're going up against other coaches that you coached with. You guys are going to see players that you knew across the net. Does that incentivize you? Does it get you fired up? Like, what are your feelings going into a match where you look across the net and there's a friend?
Yeah, I got a good taste of that being behind Coach Aird when he started at Maryland, and it was really weird going back into rec hall. Some of those things have worn off a little bit for sure, but the respect has never fallen off. I enjoy playing against Coach Steve, as I call him, and then obviously people ask me a lot about the Penn State experience last year, watching them win, and it was a really cool experience to have my daughter. She's 9, just starting to play volleyball, and she was begging me to stay up late to watch the NCAA tournament matches, and part of it is probably because I grew up there. But the reality is, I just think that she saw Coach Katie as a role model, and that was a cool experience for me.
Personally, I love it. I am so glad UCLA and USC and Washington and Oregon joined, so I see more of my West Coast buddies. It's so much fun looking across the court and seeing someone a familiar face. Averie from Indiana. Excited for you, babe.
I'm new to this conference, but I have one friend that transferred from my previous team. She's going to play at Oregon. Her name is Oriandra, and so I'm really excited to see her. But I think it's also really quickly, you're very quick as an athlete or as a coach in the, sport environment to just put that aside once you step on the court. You don't even remember about that, like, no mercy. But then, like, once we're done, all hugs and smiles.
Question down here.
Adam, in light of the recent court settlement allowing schools to pay athletes directly, how do you see that impacting both your ability to retain players and also to add players in the transfer portal or recruiting-wise? And also, do you have to be more of a capologist now, where you're negotiating, clauses into contracts, maybe performance incentives, buyout clauses, and being more aware of just how much money you have to offer?
Yeah, I think the market is still trying to figure itself out. It's one of the things a little bit tricky is that there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of, I wouldn't call it hearsay, but you're just not sure what's real and what's not. I would say 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a great chat with our new AD. And he's coming from the Atlanta Braves and has worked in professional sports for a very long time. And he had a great conversation just talking about how, in the end, culture will still matter. The best organizations still have great cultures. And so we put our attention to that. I think it was really reassuring to hear your new boss talk about that, especially as a program that we take a lot of pride in that.
Lincoln, over here. Should be the last question here for the Terrapins.
Both Adam and Eva, last year ended with, you had in the big arena, 13,000 people record. How do you go about building off of that and getting those people to come back for another match and buy into Maryland volleyball?
If Nebraska is available on Thanksgiving weekend, no, I'm just kidding. We're trying to be in there for a few matches. I was watching the Big Ten Network years ago, and Dana Recchi talked about the 2 toughest places to play in the Big Ten were Nebraska and Maryland. And I was drinking coffee and literally spit out my coffee. But she just said the small gym, the pavilion we play in, is there's nobody else playing in a gym like that. It's hard, it's loud, it's intimidating. 2 or 3 years ago, Minnesota was wearing earplugs in our gym, and so we just just, hey, this is our home and we enjoy that. But at the same time, I never want to, stop letting the program grow. And, I was telling the story, I was here as an assistant when we moved from the ACC to the Big Ten. And this is a couple previous administrations ago. They weren't going to let us sell tickets. They didn't think that it would be profitable or worthwhile. And now, last year you finished with over 13,000 people there. It was a really special moment. I had to pinch myself and just remind ourselves of not just how Maryland has grown, but how the conference has grown. So we are trying to get a couple more matches in main gym this year and find that balance of having a great home court environment, but at the same time allowing the sport to continue to grow in Maryland.
I agree. Bringing that fun environment to our pavilion gym, and then also getting to play in Xfinity, and just connecting with fans. We love our fans, and the young ladies who come and play at camp and come and return and watch our games. It's an amazing experience, and we hope to keep growing that culture.
Yeah, we did find out Coach Buzz was very happy that we don't use main gym very often. He was happy to have his own gym. So.
I think our time is out for the Terrapins. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next team is here, the Northwestern Wildcats. Their head coach, Jim Nollan, joined by Ayah Elnady and Sienna Noordermeer. Coach, I'll open it up to you for an opening statement before we open it up to questions. And please state your name and your affiliation, please, beforehand. Coach, I'll hand it off to you.
Good morning. Just wanted to open up by saying how excited we are to be here again at the Big Ten Media Days. Looking forward to kicking off the 2025 season. Be year 2 for me with the Cats. Really, really excited about the upcoming year and the investment of the Big Ten in women's volleyball and making sure that we put on the best product in the country.
We'll go right back here. At the camera.
We also saw you added a lot of different grad transfers and new recruits for this next season. So what about that excitement do you see for this new team and the new additions coming up this season?
Well, I think first and foremost, just as a staff, we feel light years ahead of where we were last year. At this time last year, we had just finalized the roster. We spent most of May trying to find people to have enough, athletes to really compete in the Big Ten. So this year, with a whole spring under our belt, training, the addition of the 3 freshmen and the 5 transfers, we feel like we have a roster put together to position us to have chances to win matches. So from that perspective, it's incredibly exciting going forward. We're not just trying to patch holes. We feel like we can actually train and develop and really build a program that this university wants and deserves.
Coach, how does the program transition from someone like Alexa Russo, who obviously played a major role, but also was a leader on this team too, and kind of what you're seeing from the team so far from spring and heading into the season?
Yeah, Alexa did a lot of things for us last year. She contributed incredibly throughout her career, but last year we asked her to both set and hit. Transitioning out of that is challenging, right? Whenever you have someone that's been a staple in a program for so long, there are challenges that are presented. I think the thing that excites us about the future, especially just in the setting position, is we had an entire spring with 2 really gifted athletes in Sienna and Lauren Carter, battling it out every day and working on their craft, but really rallying around each other and supporting each other, knowing that, one of them's going to have some really big shoes to fill, if not both of them. But I think, again, to answer your question, the spring training for us was really huge, just getting to work with our student athletes and kind of laying some foundation and some groundwork that we can build upon.
Sienna, take us through what has been, a road to recovery for you, how you're feeling going into this season and your level of excitement.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this season. We've been putting a lot of great work in and out of the gym, and as a team just diving into culture, but also working, and just really excited to hit the ground running when season starts, and just waiting for that first preseason match. But really excited to be on the court, be competing, and just excited for the season.
Does it feel even more substantial just because of the time that you've missed as well?
Yeah, I was very appreciative of the volleyball community and how everyone embraced their arms around me through that time. It was definitely challenging and unexpected, but fully healthy, feeling really, really good. And I think I just am very appreciative for every opportunity to be on the court and to be able to compete and play a sport that I love.
Ayah, tell us about coming to Northwestern, your decision to come here, and just what you see your role being this season, what you want to show Big Ten fans of your game.
Yeah, the decision to come Northwestern was really easy. I feel like the school offers a lot of things that any student athlete should be looking for. Obviously, it's academics, and the campus is beautiful, and playing in the Big Ten. So it was a really easy decision. And just like for the season, I mean, fans can expect me to just like compete hard and give my best every time. And yeah, I'm so excited for the season.
Coach, what can you say about her addition and bringing her to media days too as a newcomer?
Well, Ayah is just really special. You know, volleyball aside, she's an incredible volleyball player, but as a human, she is exactly the type of person that Northwestern wants. You know, as we went through the admittance process and having her do her, you know, interviews and things like that, everyone came back to us just how impressed they were of her as a human. And, you know, those are the type of people you want to rally around. I mean, having the ability to score 3.5, 4 points a set doesn't hurt either. You know, I think from us on the volleyball court, you're certainly going to look for her to score points, front row and back row. We are going to make you pass a little bit, so you're going to have to focus a little bit. But I love her approach to the game because she is just relentless in her attacking of the ball.
Ayah, what are you looking forward to in the Big Ten specifically to be in this conference that has the reigning national champion and stacked with talent?
Yeah, honestly, I think we talked a little bit about it as a team. Like for the Big Ten, we're going to go to every game as the underdog, obviously. We've seen that in the preseason poll, this is where the fun is because, you know, there's no outside pressure. But like within us and the team that we know that we can be great teams and like we can do something. So I feel like it's just like going to be really fun playing with no pressure, but like knowing that we have a lot of goals. So,
Sienna, can you talk about that too, about that mindset of knowing you're going to be underdogs, but embracing that as well?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about embracing the challenge, and it's going to be hard every night. There's no nights off, and we're going to have to play our hardest every single night, and that's so exciting for us because it just pushes you day in and day out, and we're going to use that as motivation every single day through double days when the season gets long, through travel of just knowing that we have a fire under our butts, and we're going to compete hard every single time to surprise some teams and just showcase what we can because we have a lot of talent and we have a lot that we can do this year.
Oh, now we got some hands. All right. I don't know who was first. You sort it out.
Abby Harris, Go Big Redcast. Coach, you finished your first year as a head coach in the Big Ten. What lessons did you learn from that you can bring into your next year coaching in this conference?
Well, you know, the Big Ten, I've said it over and over today. I'm going to keep saying it. It's the best league in the country. I think what really surprised me the most, though, was how much the other coaches care about the league and volleyball, not just their own programs. I think that was a good reminder to make sure that we're trying to help grow the game. That's my biggest takeaway, honestly, from year one. Volleyball's volleyball. The level's great. Yes, the athletes are incredibly talented, but it's still just volleyball. But I think seeing how driven the other head coaches were to really invest in the game and invest in the sport and help the next generation of coaches and really help the next generation of athletes was really special to me and something I did not take lightly.
Lincoln and then the front row.
Coach, you seem to perk up when they said it was an easy choice for her to come here. Was that news to you right now, or are you learning how to recruit to Northwestern's academics and use those to your advantage?
No, it just excites me when a player of her caliber says it was an easy choice to make to come to Northwestern. You know, I think, again, she's an incredibly special human. I think learning how to recruit to Northwestern is unique. We are different. You know, we're the #6 academic school in the country, period. We're the smallest school in the Big Ten. So we do have just our own set of criteria and things that you're going to go through and the type of athletes we're going to look for. And I think the staff and I have done a good job at shrinking that list initially now so that we're targeting the right people early. When I heard Ayah was going in the portal, I knew she was a no-brainer.
Brendan Prizeman, Inside NU. Coach, you talked about off-season additions and making sure that they fit what you're looking for in Northwestern. One of the easier additions, given that, was Lauren Curry from the softball team. What do you see from her? And obviously Northwestern has a lot of two-school athletes. What do you think she can bring to the team this year?
Well, Lauren is incredibly unique in the sense that she played 4 years of softball at Northwestern, was part of Big Ten championship teams, part of NCAA tournament teams, understands winning at the elite level, and to have her to be able to transition and play for us, I think was an opportunity we couldn't, resist. She's a unique player in that she's a 1-foot attacker. She can hit in the middle. She can hit on the right. She can hit the slide. She's got an incredible arm. But having her leadership and guidance as a player that's had success in the Big Ten and had success in the NCAA tournament was something that I feel can really help our squad.
And if I may speak to Lauren as well, she's been an incredible addition off the court as well. She brings such just a passion and vibrance for the game, and I think it's reminded all of us why we love volleyball so much, and she's just been an automatic, easy fit. So we're so lucky to have her on the team.
Coach Nick Stainer from 93.7 The Ticket. You mentioned earlier 8 new additions this year. In year 2 for yourself, how do you build the culture in a conference like the Big Ten where it's a grind night in, night out? How do you guys, and Sienna, you mentioned it earlier as well, kind of how do you guys build it and keep on building in a conference like the Big Ten?
Well, I think first and foremost, we have to keep investing in our student athletes. So pouring into our student athletes like Ayah and Sienna and helping them find the best volleyball players in themselves, helping them be successful in the classroom, but really investing in our student athletes. That's how we build our culture. And with the 8 newcomers coming in, I feel like we did a lot of work in the winter and spring quarters with the returners to build a really strong foundation so those 8 newbies just slot in. They don't get to come in and just do their own thing. They understand, okay, this is how we, prepare for practice. This is the timing schedule. This is, how we will conduct ourselves on road trips. This is how we succeed in the classroom. And again, luckily, these 8 players want to be here. They understand what Northwestern is. It's not a shock that you have to go to class. We're fortunate in that manner, but the work that the current and returners put in winter and spring is going to pay huge dividends here in another couple weeks.
Coach, over here.
Oh, okay.
Colleen Kane from the Chicago Tribune. How do you feel like the House settlement and the revenue sharing era impacts your program and then the sport in general?
Well, obviously the settlement is kind of changing the landscape of college athletics. I think it allows us to invest in players and to, help players showcase their talents and set them up for later. I think in terms of Northwestern and how we're handling it, I think Northwestern supports it 100%. Northwestern supports revenue share. It's participating in revenue share. I think we're very fortunate to have a president and an athletic administration that understands the importance of athletics and how they can be an incredibly enriching thing for the general student body. Like college athletics, when they're done right, adds to universities. It helps drives admissions. It helps drives national interest. It helps drives marketing. Okay? So the House settlement just allows us to go out and try and do that at the highest level. So in terms of, is it going to be different? Yes, it's something we're all kind of figuring out as we go. It's new to everyone. Do I think it can be great? Yes. Do I think there's going to be bumps in the roads and things that no one thought of as we go along? Of course. That's all part of the new, if you will. But I think that I feel very fortunate that we have an administration that wants to support us and wants this to be done the right way and is trying to hire the experts and the people to surround us to make sure we can do this the very best it can be done.
Lee, and then we'll go front row again.
I assume it's quite an adjustment to go from Cairo to Lawrence, Kansas. Is Chicago a little bit more like Cairo, or is there any similarity there?
Downtown Chicago maybe a little bit. But I think just like the transition from Kansas to Northwestern was easier than like from Cairo to the U.S. Just like now because like I know the culture and like, I know the language more. So that transition was easier.
What would you want people to know about Cairo?
We have great beaches, not in Cairo, but in other cities in Egypt. So we have amazing beaches.
Right in front.
Thank you. For the players, obviously, massive shifts in the collegiate landscape past couple of years. That includes the expanded Big Ten. You guys are going to California twice, New York and Texas. You talked about the grind of the season. On those long road trips like that, how do you guys make sure that you keep that focus when you need to?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's knowing that we're there to take care of business. And like Tim talked about, we have standards about how we're going to conduct ourselves and the work we're going to do. And at the end of the day, it is a business trip and we're there to win. And so that's our focus. But then it's how do we continue to build our culture, lean on our culture, spend time with each other, make them enjoyable. We have a ton of fun with each other in the hotels before and after. And I think leaning into those and making those memories along the way and really just being able to do it with your best friends and doing it for a sport that you love, it doesn't become work and it becomes something that just continually energizes you. And I'm personally extremely excited for the California trips, but all of the travel trips to be able to continue to build memories and take care of business on the way.
All right, I'm going to open it up also again to our student journalists if there's any questions here. Anybody? All right, we got a question back here. We're joined with some students today. Can you describe your training routine?
It's like, what's your schedule?
So like right now in the summer, we have workouts at 5:45 a.m. I'm pretty sure like it's not like that everywhere, but like with us, some people have classes and some people have internships. So this made the most sense. So we have workouts at 5:45, and then we have open gym after for like an hour and a half, and then I have to go to class. Sienna has to go to an internship. And then I'm done with class around 4. And then, just like go back. Sometimes I'll go again with Sienna at night to get some extra reps. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and then with preseason starting up, it becomes double days. So we'll have a practice block in the morning with some lifts, and then we'll do a little bit of a break and then practice in the afternoon as well. So starting up a much heavier schedule of training. And once travel and games start, we have a pretty big morning block where we practice and lift, and then we go to classes and games after that.
Any more questions? Oh, one more down here.
That's a great question, and that's something that we've definitely prioritized. Being a student athlete at Northwestern is not easy, and you have to lean into that, and I think it comes with we have a lot of support and great support at Northwestern, and it's also leaning into your teammates, finding those people that you trust and you love to go out and do something that you love doing, and just being honest with yourself and what you need to do. And I like to think staying organized and on top of everything also really helps with that, so you can try and slot in time for yourself. But we're definitely prioritizing working with our sports psychologists and all our sports staff so we can last through those really long seasons and come out of it really happy and healthy.
Yeah, for me, just like relying on the people around me, and just like be vocal and like, just like organizing my time, making sure I'm top of it, like everything. So.
One more over here. Anybody? No, one more.
My name is Jasmine Calvin, and I'm from Milton, Brennison. And my question is, when you are playing a game, like, what do you typically feel like? Energized, focused, nervous, determined, excited? And how does that affect your performance in the game?
For me, I feel very excited, especially when we have a lot of fans. I feel like they always bring the energy. So yeah, I feel like I'm the best when I'm, like loose and like more excited. So.
I definitely do get nervous. It's that excited nervous of I love playing the game and I want to play it the best I can. And I love just leaning into my teammates when we all get hyped up together and that first point, that first big block where we're all just really excited and start to settle in and feel confident. I think the emotional side of volleyball is very underrated, but it's so much fun and it really does help us play our best when we're in the right headspace.
Any more questions for the Wildcats? All right, thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Coach, I'll open it up to an opening statement for you, and then we'll open up to questions here in the room and on Zoom. And again, please state your name and affiliation, please.
Year 4, wow, I can't believe it. It's gone fast, and it's my 6th season, headed into my 6th season at Rutgers, and it's just remarkable how much this program has really shifted over the past 6 seasons, and I'm really excited to be here to obviously let Lexi and Kenzie talk about their experience this past spring, as well as what the team is, what you're going to be experiencing as a Rutgers team in the fall. And so again, thank you all for being here and being part of this Media Day experience.
All right, questions for Rutgers? I'll start things off, Coach. I want to ask about just as you head into 2025 and continuing to build what you're most looking forward to and wanting to showcase with this particular squad this year.
Yeah, this team last year was incredibly young. We started 4 freshmen, a couple of sophomores. We only graduated 1 key player. Obviously, she was a major contributor, but we feel like we've been able to definitely replace that position through the transfer portal. And so I'm just excited that we're able to use the experience that we had in, unfortunately, being defeated in some really tight matches last year, but actually having had the opportunity to play in those matches. In the past, we never really had that experience to go to 5 sets in so many matches that we did. And unfortunately, losing them at the end, I think, came down to a little bit of inexperience and just team leadership as a whole. But obviously, I gained the opportunity to learn, and the rest of my coaching staff to learn how to move forward and really get over the finish line in those matches. But I think you're going to see a bit of a different Rutgers team, but also the same. It's kind of hard to explain. We obviously have some new people in some key positions, but a lot of returners as well.
Unless the 2 players, too, similarly along those lines about what you're most looking forward to, what you want people to know as you go through summer workouts about what this 2025 Rutgers team is going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, I just really want people to know that we are a very close-knit team and we're working on fixing like the little things and we're really working on coming together and being able to play well with one another.
Yeah, I would say we've been working extremely hard in summer workouts and lift and practice, and that we're ready to compete and play against the best.
Kayla, asked about Laura Wilcock, unusual transfer, played beach, joined you. Also a master's biomedical sciences major. How does that mesh with the volleyball training schedule?
Yeah, Rutgers, fortunately, I'll talk about the educational piece first. We have one of the best degree programs in biomedical sciences. I've learned a lot about that graduate program, but the dean of that program has had multiple athletes come through, so they know how to work with the schedules. Rutgers being such a large institution, we do offer a lot of classes at different times. One of the things we're doing this year is shifting our practice block a little bit later in the day. We practiced earlier in the day in the past, but moving to a little bit later in the day. It's always my goal to have local talent on the team. Lauren was in the ones pair at Washington. She was also in the ones pair before that at South Carolina, and something that really stood out to me about her was that she typically had a partner that was younger than her. And so from a leadership standpoint, I thought that she would be a wonderful add, help support our passing unit. And there's been a transition for her, obviously taking the game from outside to inside, just the speed. But I got to watch her, do some training while we were during camp, last week. And I thought that, she really has meshed nicely.
Can I ask the players too about what that transition is like? Do you notice anything different when someone has that primary beach background?
Yeah, I mean, we mess around with Lauren all the time because especially when we're setting, like I think one of the kids at the camp was like, oh, like, isn't that a carry though, when she was setting? And she's like, I'm working on it.
Her out-of-system setting, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's definitely working on that. Obviously, setting and beach is a little bit different, but she's working on that, and then a few like footwork things. And she said diving was a lot different. She got pretty bruised up the first couple of weeks of open gym, but she's meshed really nicely with us, and I'm super excited to be able to keep playing with her.
I was joking with her because obviously, Lexi has a really, really strong jump topspin serve, and Lauren's like, well, I did it on the beach. I'm like, that's a free ball. Like, we got to be better at that. So she's like, well, I thought, I just have to figure out how to hit the indoor ball a little bit harder. But
All right, I think we can maybe ask one of our student journalists that's here as well.
My name is Lonnie Jackson, and I attend Milton Brownson Elementary School. And my question for the athletes today is, what is your mindset coming into the upcoming season?
Yeah, for me personally, my mindset is we get to play against the best of the best day in, day out. I mean, there's not a lot of conferences where you get to say that you play like top 25 teams like back-to-back nights. And so really just enjoying the moment and trying to remember that it's so cool to be able to play some of the best athletes in the country and really focusing on that.
I would say something similar. Going into my senior year, I really want to make this, my best season and enjoy every moment. So, yeah.
My name is Jason Weston from Bronson Elementary School. My question for the coach is, how do you determine playing time, and what are some factors considered for freshmen coming in?
playing time. We train for about 25 days before our first game. Obviously, we have the opportunity to see these players on more of a year-round basis. Summer access would be wonderful, but I get to see them play a lot. We also were able to go on a foreign trip this year, so I got a little bit of an early insight. We were able to bring one of our freshmen, Amani Howe, on that trip with us, so got to see how she meshed with the team. But I think playing time comes from a few things. Obviously, you can perform well in practice, but can you replicate that in a game? And there's certain players who can, and there's certain players who can't, and we learn that over time of just getting to know them and experiencing. It doesn't mean that's every night, but that definitely is something that goes into it. I think competitive personality, how you hold yourself under the pressure, under the big lights, the fans, how do you recover? Are you taking care of your body correctly? So we play back-to-back nights sometimes, and are the players that are able to repeat their Friday night skill level on Saturday night. So, and then last but not least, obviously experience. As you get older, you get more comfortable, and so that goes into it as well. We haven't really had that much opportunity to really have a lot of experienced players out there, so this will be the first year where I think we have a junior, senior class that is able to really hold their own, and it's not just all freshmen out there, freshmen, sophomores out there.
Cedric with the Volleyball Project. This is for the players and coaches as well. How do you guys process game film? Do you watch the Big Ten Network? Do you listen without the sound or the broadcast? How do you take in that game?
So usually before games, we'll break down film through volumetrics. So we'll look at hitting tendencies, like serving tendencies, all of that type of stuff, and we really break it down to like what are people's like very specific tendencies, so then we can try and like help prevent what they're really, really good at or things like that.
Yeah, we usually take it like an offense. We focus on that and scout their offense and then their defense, which makes it easier to digest. And then we form a game plan of what we should do. So,
how do you guys do when you watch the game? Do you watch the broadcast? How do you watch the games on the broadcast?
Yeah. So I have this saying where I'm like, are we watching it as a future team player? Are we scouting this, or are we watching this as a fan? And it's totally okay to watch games as a fan, right? They're both from states that are big volleyball states, and they might just want to turn on the television and watch the game as a fan. But it's a very different mindset when you're watching it to prepare for a team. So I wouldn't recommend that they just turn on, BTN and just watch the game and say, hey, we're prepped. No, it's not like that. We're on the road sometimes, and we'll turn it on at night just in the hotel when we're eating dinner or whatever, if it's a game that's after hours. But when it comes to film breakdown, our technical director does an unbelievable job of creating small videos for the players. We break down practice film so they can see themselves playing. We break down individual reps. This year, I think in the past, having a young team, we really force-fed a lot of a scouting report to them, and they did a great job of memorizing set one, right? I think we did a lot better job. We won a ton of set ones. But we didn't do a great job of being able to transition into when the other team made an adjustment in set 2, 3, 4. We almost needed to have like a whole other practice to learn about that. And so we are spending more time less about team-specific things and more about player tendencies. And so that's an area that we want to focus on this year. And they're just small group sessions, a lot of film.
Hi guys, Sue Marianne, Big Ten Network. Coach, you alluded to the foreign travels that you guys had. I think this was first time for
Ever. Mm-hmm.
Ever. So I want you to just tell us a little bit about that, and then for all three of you, what does a trip like that do for your program, both like chemistry, competition, etc.?
Yeah. Our main two donors who really helped fund that trip aren't going to want to have their names announced, but we were very supported when it came from a donor relationship to really drive that trip. And it was a goal of mine when I first was hired that I wanted to do that trip and wait for the right timing of it. We've had opportunity actually to do this probably for the last 3 years, but I wasn't sure the team dynamic, everything was exactly where I wanted it to be that would really jumpstart the next season. And so I felt after this spring, actually after last fall, knowing that we were retaining the majority of our team, having the opportunity to train for the extra 10 days before that trip and then go on that trip, the relationships and then the growth from a player development that we were able to create. And so again, yes, it was the first trip that Rutgers has ever done. I was able to do a foreign trip with some of my previous institutions, and I just saw how successful those seasons are. And actually one of the ways we got the trip pushed through is we had to do some research about the success of other programs on years after foreign trips, and there really is a trend that's related to that. So that was a driving factor for those donors to really push through that trip. But I had a wonderful time. I got to know my players a lot more on a personal level, and my daughter was able to go, my mother was able to go, so they got to see that side of my life more. And it was a lot of together time, but I was actually honestly, I think maybe you guys can explain how we got through that trip, but it was I was shocked how there really was no fighting. Everyone seemed to really still enjoy being around each other at the end of that trip, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was so cool to be able to experience new cultures, especially we have a girl on our team, Emma. She's from Serbia, so to be able to experience her culture, her home, it was so cool. And just all the new experiences and being able to create new memories especially with the new people, that just makes your team so much closer. And it's going to really translate to the court, hopefully.
Yeah, I would just add that it was also interesting to see the different styles of play. I feel like every country had their, unique way of playing, so I think it was a great experience for us to grow.
For a player like Lexi, who is going into her senior year and potentially what's next? Do I stay playing volleyball? Do I go into the workforce? What do I do? I think opening her eyes and kind of putting words in your mouth, but she had a wonderful foreign trip, and the opportunities the doors that opened from just other teams getting to see her play in different countries, that might not have been their first thought about a 5'10" outside hitter. They got to see how successful she was against really, really quality players. We played the U21 Italian team, and she, had an unbelievable hitting percentage against them. So it was just really interesting.
Hi, my name is Emmanuel Ross, and I go to Milton Bronson School. What keeps you guys motivated when things get tough in volleyball?
I would say there's a lot of younger girls who looked up to us, and I think that's a main thing that keeps me motivated is, playing for my younger self and playing for younger girls that would love to be in my shoes.
Yeah, for me, it's the same thing as Lexi. playing for younger me who loved the game. I still love the game. So really just focusing on my joy for the game just really keeps me going.
How has the house settlement impacted your team management? And if players, is that a topic of conversation, or is that you're discussing that as on your mind of how the sport is growing and evolving?
Yeah, the house settlement is interesting. Obviously, I followed along the whole process for the past several years. I don't know how much they followed along the ins and outs of it, but I think a lot of coaches will say that's not the reason they got into coaching originally, was because of where we're at now. But I do think after really trying to process and why, and ask the questions as to why we got to this point, I understand. And I see how much is on their plate and how much is on all the players' plates in all different sports, and how much they really do represent these institutions in such a high quality way that it is only fair that they're able to be compensated for their time and what they bring to the table. However, what they probably will realize is that it's a tough ask for every institution, not only Rutgers, but every institution. I was just talking to one of our head of our booster club, and she's involved with the Women in Finance group at Rutgers, and they did an entire overview of how all the Big Ten teams would fare when it comes to paying out this amount of money year after year after year. And the reality is it's going to be tough for pretty much 98% of institutions. And so how that translates, I think Rutgers is doing a wonderful job of trying to keep the experience the same for all of our athletes, regardless of what sport they play. And we've been able to be at a point where I have fought for the past several years when I took over this program to make sure that we were operationally funded at the same way that other teams in the Big Ten were, because in the past the volleyball program was not. And so in order to be successful, we need to remain at that level. Obviously, doing things like selling tickets for the first time ever in program history was a big deal, and that's something that I pushed for several years. And now I want to show that we have this fan base that's able to generate some income back into the university, and it just shows how invested the region is in the sport of volleyball. And so again, when it comes to player, those are individual conversations, and Rutgers is part of that mix for volleyball. And obviously we're going through some administrative changes, and we don't need to get into that, but we're going to figure out who's leading the charge, and that is whoever that may be. And obviously we've had wonderful interim athletic directors in the meantime, but whoever full-time leads the charge, they know that volleyball needs to be a priority sport, because it is in this conference.
Have you had conversations about the health of the players at the level at all?
Be honest.
I like to ask Caitlin questions about it. I see a lot of it, especially on Twitter. I'll see people post about it. So most of my conversations have just been asking Caitlin hey, what does this mean? What is this? Stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
It's really important to me that I treat my players as if they are professional athletes, because they basically are professional athletes, right? And so, it's okay, Jamie. And so I want to make sure that they're part of their own process, and that I'm as transparent as possible of the decisions that I have to make and how it affects them. I don't want to hide anything from them. And obviously there's things that they don't need to be privy to that don't affect them immediately, but I think it's important that they're aware of decisions that not only the NCAA is making, not only the ABCA is making, but also that Rutgers is making and I am making, that will affect them in the near future.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about what went into your decision to bring Kenzie and Lexi to Media Days this year?
Sure. Yeah, well, so Kenzie's been a captain for us. She was captain as a sophomore, which I think is maybe a rare thing. I don't know how many teams have a sophomore captain, but she was our libero full-time last season. She has a ton of experience. Also, her younger sister's coming in I don't know if I can say that, but we have a family, a tree growing in the Dyrstad family, so it's something that she has really invested in this Rutgers process and growth process, and she was one of the first true commits that I had for that class of 2023, and she opened the door for us in the Nebraska market, and now that's growing exponentially year after year, the interest. And so I thought that was really important that she represents this team and this program. And Lexi is a really unique story where she came in as a walk-on as a freshman, and I didn't know exactly what role she would fill. She played more of a utility player, but she has taken every single bit of feedback that I have given her, that the rest of the staff has given her, in great stride. And now she's a player that we can't take off the court. So I felt like she really earned that honor to represent this team, and it just shows that, just like this program that we're trying to create as a whole, that sometimes it takes time to meet your goals. It doesn't always happen overnight, but the reality is if you stick with something regularly, good things can happen.
All right, I think we've run out of time for Rutgers. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sloan. Keegan Cook, head volleyball coach, University of Minnesota. Nice to see you all here. Nice turnout here in the fourth iteration of this. My third. Just a lot of gratitude walking back into this space. I don't think season felt real until right about now that it's here. It's upon us. Excited to get back in the gym with my group. It's got that mix of young and old talent, but most of all, it's a group that is on the same page in terms of values in volleyball. So first 2 years at Minnesota were special. Transitions are challenging, as we know, in this day and age in college sports, and I think it says a lot about the University of Minnesota and the athletes, the fact that this program has been to 2 NCAA tournaments and 1 matches, but we hope to remember it as the good before the great, and we're looking to make a jump here into those later weekends of the tournament. This is a dynamic group, a group whose potential we'll be trying to meet for the entirety of this season. We've been known as a serving, blocking, grind you out kind of team, but hopefully you're going to see a much more dynamic offensive group, much more skilled receiving group, and a group with plenty of personality and character. So thanks for being here. Looking forward to talking with you guys.
Questions for the Gophers? We'll start right here.
Dustin Schutte, Purdue on SI. Coach, you added Lauren S. Myers from the transfer portal. Just what does she bring to you, to your team, and how does she fit on your roster?
Hi, Dustin. Yeah, really special opportunity to add a really dynamic athlete, one that we had competed against a number of times unsuccessfully. So looking forward to having her on our side of the net. A long athlete, dynamic, really well coached in her time at Purdue, can score the ball in front and behind the setter. It just gives you an added level of physicality that we lost. You know, Phoebe Awalea was a big loss for us in the middle in terms of being one of the best blockers in the country, and Lourdes helps us mitigate some of that while also adding a little bit more offense in the middle third of the net, which is something that we've been aspiring to be better at for some time. So thankful to have her and for all the work that she did at Purdue. And again, she speaks highly of her time there, and we're looking forward to giving her the best year of her career.
Julia, how do you explain the quantum leap you made last year? What were the keys?
Yeah, I think spring of 2024, I think Keegan kind of told me, like, hey, this is your moment. If you want it, take it. I can't help you with everything, but I can coach you, and if it translates to the court, it translates. And, you know, I just had a lot of trust in Keegan and also my teammates, and so it just translated. I have a lot of, like I said, a lot of trust, and so I can listen to him all the time on the court and just get all of the feedback possible.
Thanks, Lee.
Lincoln Area Huskers Illustrated. Keegan, what are you looking forward to about starting the season in Sioux Falls and that environment?
Scheduling is such a beast, you know, and people think you just get the matches you want where and when you want them. And, you know, one of our big principles this year was we always like to start the season with a team that we think can be playing the last weekend. You know, we played Stanford and Texas last year, and we thought Texas A&M was one of the schools we identified as being one of those teams. We're playing them in a part of the country that is pretty important, the upper Midwest. Some talented players coming out of that region. It's close to us, lots of Gopher fans. But I wanted to give them a championship match early to let them know, hey, this is what's possible. And last year we had 2 great matches, obviously against Stanford and Texas, and we're hoping to have a similar performance against Texas A&M. But you want to put your team in those spaces and see where you're at early. gives you something to build towards. And then after that, the rest of the non-conference is against winning programs, which was one of our principles of this non-conference schedule. But certainly we're starting off right at the top in that week 0 event.
Big Redcast, you talked about that jump from good to great. So for all of you, what is required to make that jump?
I think Keegan talks a lot about the little things matter, and I think that's really important because you can be good at some skills, but if you really dig deep into the little things and the little tiny things that you're not going to see, that's what's going to get you from good to great.
Yeah, I was going to say showing up every day on the court, playing for your teammates, and trying to change the habits that you're doing wrong when you're playing volleyball. I think, that's what makes you great.
Yeah. They know what's going on, yeah. We lost, 6 matches by 2 points last year, right? Baylor, TCU, Wisconsin at Wisconsin. The margins are thin. Offensively, we went from 230 to 255, maybe around there, but we need to be close to hitting in the high 300s if you're really going to be talking about being at the top of the Big Ten. So that's been our focus, receiving and siding out and getting the ball across the net one time in a dynamic way, and we think that's going to be a good place to build this team from.
Keegan, so how was your summer? Can you talk about what it was like to coach Jordan Taylor, and what the experience of the two of you together and how that will translate to Minnesota?
Yeah, Lee's asking about, I had the opportunity to coach the U19 national team this summer in World Championships with 2 of our Gophers in Kelly Kinney and Jordan Taylor. And, when you travel with someone for 20 days, you know everything you want to know and everything you don't want to know about them by the end of that trip. But I think what was fun to watch was just the growth at rapid speed, right? When you're in those environments against that quality of opponent, you really find out what the athlete has intangibly, and Jordan especially showed quite a bit. Our travel home was about 30 hours, and I think when she got home, she was locked out of her room and had to sleep on the couch, and I asked her the next day how she was doing. She said, "I'm doing great." And I just learned a lot about her in that moment, that really durable athlete, really has a great mindset, and it was fun to see her representing her country.
Coach Stella Swenson couldn't be here today, just winning a gold with the U21 national team. But after having a setter for 5 straight years, what has that transition been like? And I'll ask these two as well about this new kind of chapter and her taking on that role.
Yeah, she's setting you, and she's passing off you, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm excited for Stella. I think in the gym, she's already a great leader and very competitive, probably one of the most competitive kids in the gym, which that's hard because we're all very competitive, but I love competing with her. Me and her have a great bond of what I need from her, what she needs from me. So I'm just really excited to get this season going and see her full potential.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she's young, she's just starting, but she's a great leader, as Julia said, from the beginning. And it's so fun to play with her. She's so competitive. She makes me better every day. I make her better every day. We make each other better every day. So yeah, I'm excited to play with her this year.
Yeah, pretty well said. Yeah, I'm excited. Sorry, Stella couldn't be here today. She was doing some new and exciting stuff for her. It means a lot for her to be with that USA team, and congratulations to them on getting a gold medal. But yeah, Stella's been patient. In a day and age when college sports athletes and fans aren't too patient. Stella, I think, made the most of her redshirt year, and to our benefit and her benefit, we're looking forward to seeing her step foot on the path officially here pretty soon.
The Big Ten's had a number of great liberos over the year too. You were a libero last year. How do you go about trying to live that legacy and kind of be the next generation of great liberos in the Big Ten?
I mean, I'm just trying to work hard every day, trying to get good reps, and pushing myself every day. I mean, it's not gonna be great every match, every game, but it's just I try to be with my teammates, trying to help them, trying to get help from them, and trying to make each other better. I mean, yeah, there were some bad moments that I was okay, what am I gonna do now? For example, last year Stanford game, it was a personally bad game for me. But then we had to play a Texas game, which was number 1 of that time. And yeah, I was just okay, if I'm gonna be a good libero, I have to be there for my teammates. I'm not gonna give up right now and just go back to my country. So yeah, so I was yeah. I just want to be a good teammate, and then I think with the help of my team, I think, yeah, I'm going to be a good libero like that.
Zeynep, when you enter this 2025 season and you look back on where you started here at Minnesota, the cultural transition, learning the American game, serving, and just where you've come and just the confidence you have heading into this year.
Yeah, my first year was tough because it was a whole different country, a whole different culture, a whole different language, and like everything was different. So I was trying to get used to, and I had a good role model in front of me, Kayla. She helped me a lot with this transition as a libero, as a leader, as a teammate, as a friend. So it was a big difference. But last year I got this spot to play as a libero, which I was lucky. But yeah, I think I'm just trying to do my best every game, every practice with my teammates and my coaches.
Lincoln.
Julia, there's been big news in the college athletics landscape with house settlement, revenue sharing. Is that on your radar at all? Is that something you're concerned about, or is that just kind of blend into the NIL landscape?
Yeah, I had a conversation about revenue sharing back in January, and I know it's coming and stuff like that, but that's not why I play college sports. I play college sports to represent Minnesota and represent my home state and wear that M across my chest all the time. So yeah, it's awesome. It helps us a lot, but at the end of the day, like, I'm still an athlete and I'm still a human being, so it's not really on my radar.
Keegan, I imagine it's on your radar. How much of time do you spend thinking about revenue sharing, roster building, and kind of navigating this new world that we're living in?
Yeah, I've heard some coaches say like upwards of 50% of our time. It first hit us in the fall. We had some great communication from the Big Ten and from Mark Coyle, and started planning then for this transition. And Julia knows the season ended, and I was visiting her for breakfast the next morning. I mean, that's how much it was on our radar, and to talk to her about the future and what it could look like for her. But what we really came to is, we're still coaching these athletes and we're advocating for them. We're still trying to give them skills in volleyball and professionally that they will be successful with, professionally and, in the future. But they're just now being rewarded for that a little bit sooner. So the job hasn't changed as much. We've had to maybe make new hires or reorganize our staff, but it's still, at its heart, the same job. We're still advocating for these guys as we always have been, and telling these different entities why they should value our student athletes, now and in the future. And so it's been a fun thing to learn. It was exciting to hire Nellie Coleman as our first general manager to help me get off of Excel and back onto film. But yeah, I'm thankful for where we've landed. I'm thankful for the Big Ten and for Minnesota and for them giving us the communication to get organized and make sure that we're doing the absolute most that we can for our athletes. So we're in a good position. It doesn't dominate our thoughts like it used to now that we're organized and we can get back to doing what we love, which is coach and mentor.
So speaking of giving all of our female athletes the respect and all of that they deserve, you guys play Vanderbilt. We don't often get to see inaugural seasons at this level. So can you talk a little bit about what that means that we get a first-year team like that, and kind of how you prepare for a team like that?
Yeah, not with film, right? No, it's special. Anders' sister Meredith played at Minnesota. Anders from Minnesota. Their family has a relationship with the program, and we thought, hey, here's an opportunity to have our athletes be part of something special and to support him. And Meredith has been a wonderful supporter of the program. And again, you want to put your athletes in spaces that are memorable, and this, I think, is going to be one for sure. And so, yeah, huge props to Vanderbilt University for starting their program. They've been building it for a while. We can't wait to get down there and be part of that. I'm sure it's going to be a rocking environment. But yeah, you don't get a whole lot of chances to be part of firsts anymore. And anytime you do, you jump at it for sure. You guys excited?
Yeah, I'm really excited. It just kind of shows that like women's sports and women's volleyball is growing so much, which is really cool to see. Coach
Cook, maybe a bittersweet. thing that happened in the offseason is one of your assistants, Kristen Kelsey, moving to her alma mater, and just your thoughts about her moving into that role, and especially at a place that means a lot to her.
Boo. No, I'm just kidding. Well, just a lot of joy, just for someone who you shared, 2 years felt like 10 at the pace that we were operating at, and you could see it in that first press conference how meaningful it was for her, But we always say, coaching, you have two teams when you're a coach. You've got your players and you have your staff. And anytime one of your staff members gets to go on and do something professionally that they aspire to do, you feel a tremendous amount of pride and joy. And so, yeah, we're very happy to be her first Big Ten match and share that memory with her as well inside the PAV. But yeah, it's meaningful, right? Again, and we play a lot of matches that we forget, but we have a chance to play some memorable ones, and so we're looking forward to competing against Kristen after having her on our side for a few years.
Other questions for the Gophers? Yep, right over here.
Dustin Schutte, Purdue on SI. You talked about scheduling being a beast. I'm just kind of curious. A lot of teams are now kind of going into Purdue will play Cambridge Fieldhouse, Nebraska played at Memorial Stadium. When you get those type of calls, do you have to evaluate those situations if you want to play in those environments? Do you jump at that chance no matter what, or how? What's kind of the thought process in those situations for the opponent if you're going to be the opposing team?
Yeah, again, you better have a good reason not to say yes. I think we have an obligation to be part of things bigger than ourselves. We have an obligation to grow the sport, and that really gets tested in those moments. Are you going to play in one of those venues? Hey, are you going to send this athlete to the USA team? Right. That's really where your commitment to the conference or to USA Volleyball are tested. So when we get those invites, we usually pretty quickly say yes. We're not the only decision maker now when it comes to playing in some of those venues or in those preseason events. But yeah, the fact that we're playing matches in front of crowds of 10,000 plus and filling those venues with ease is awesome.
Coach, another one from me. I wanted to ask about going into year 3. I think we've had those conversations, the difference between 1 and 2. Is this kind of you set that foundation and it's full steam ahead, or what is still, within the works when you are putting your stamp on this program?
Yeah, again, I just keep saying from good to great, right? I think things were stable for 2 years. We got some cultural things in place. We played some decent volleyball and had some moments. But I think the 12 weeks we had in the spring, the amount of progress our players made was the greatest indication of where we're at as a program, right? That we could teach at the level we were teaching at, that the learning was happening, it was measurable. And so I just have confidence that you'll see that this fall, that the relationships were developed enough. We knew who we were and who we needed to become, and we just put in the kind of lonely work to get it done. So I'm excited for, again, these guys to come out, and again, there'll be some new faces, there'll be some old faces, there'll be some similar traits that you've seen with our team. There should hopefully be some new wrinkles that show off the new talent that we brought into the program. But yeah, it's been a fast and long 3 years, but it feels like home, and this is my team, and I love them, and I'm excited to coach them.
Lincoln?
You want to follow up on what you talked about a little earlier about hiring Nelly as a GM and one of the first people to serve in that role. Why did you want to add that, and what does Nelly bring to that position?
It's just important for these athletes. We're the last place for them before they become professional athletes, and so again, they're going to leave us, and when they leave us, they enter a whole new world where we can't really help them. But we want to give them skills to be successful professionals, and part of that includes conversations, with representatives who then advocate for you to get you the best possible situation as a professional athlete. And I think Nelly, to me, someone who was a former professional player, who's been in the national team gym, who's held other places in business that involve negotiating. She's just such a great mentor for that space. She's not scared to be in any room or to advocate, courageously for what she believes in or who she believes in. And so I just wanted our athletes to be in front of her mostly, right? And the rest of it will work itself out in terms of, revenue sharing, NIL. But I was most excited about that. Anytime you get to bring somebody like Nelly back into volleyball when they've left it is a victory, right? We have so many great people leaving volleyball for different professional opportunities that it felt like a chance to win one back in our direction for college volleyball. So I think that's what I'm most excited about.
All right, any last questions? I think we're about out of time. Gophers, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right, let's welcome in the Purdue Boilermakers, their head coach, Dave Shondell, Taylor Anderson, and Kenna Woolard joining us here on the stage. Coach, I'll give you the floor for an opening statement, and then we'll open it up to questions. And, of course, state your name and your affiliation as well, and we'll get underway with Purdue.
Thank you very much. Dave Shondell, Purdue University. Always great to be here at this event. How thankful we are for both the Big Ten Conference and the Big Ten Network for opening the doors a few years ago to make this happen. It's great for our athletes. It's great for our sport. And so we're very, very appreciative of that. Big season awaits Purdue. We had a great campaign a year ago where a lot of things went really, really well for us. We just didn't go as deep as we wanted to go into the NCAA tournament. But we have 18 players on our roster. We are going to play volleyball at Purdue again this year. And I'm excited about the people we have. And I think the sisterhood that is being developed there, I've never used that before at a press conference, but I think that it's a good way to describe what's happening in our program right now. But it will be a tough, tough season for almost everybody in the Big Ten, because I think it's going to be a couple of teams that probably have more talent and experience than everybody else. But after that, it's going to be a real street fight. And we just have to be really competitive and win some close matches, and we'll have a shot at playing in the NCAA tournament.
Questions for the Boilermakers? We'll start right here.
Dustin Schutte, Purdue on SI. Kenna and Taylor, you guys go from that underclassmen role, now it's more of a leadership role. Just curious, the first 2 years, who did you learn the most from, and how are you embracing your roles as leaders for this team?
Yeah, definitely. We have to take on bigger leadership roles this year, and I think Raven Colvin did a really good job of portraying that type of role last year. She's a very vocal leader, but she knows how to talk to and teach each and every one of her teammates. So I think I learned a lot from her my first 2 years.
For me, I would also say Raven. Just playing next to her, it really grew my game. And I'd also say Sydney Yim, her being a setter, looking up to her, she was like a rock for me. And so it's kind of scary now thinking that I'm now the oldest setter, but it's okay.
Since you all brought up Raven Colvin, Coach, I wanted to ask about her graduation. She was such a force at the net, especially defensively, and maybe don't replace her with one person, but just how that transition happens, especially on the defensive side after she graduated.
Yeah, transition will be really unique because it will be filled by 4 new people that have not been really in our gym a whole lot. 3 middles transferred in and 1 freshman. And so there'll be a lot of teaching, a lot of training, a lot of developing and understanding our systems. But hopefully that I think we got 4 really good athletes that are going to be capable. And I think that they're willing to do the work and put the time in. And I think that there won't be Raven. There's not going to be another Raven Colvin in our gym. There'll never be one like her. And I think I thought she was underrated as an athlete and as a middle blocker, but the numbers indicate she was really, really good. And had a great match yesterday for USA's under-23 team, led them to a win. So excited about her future professionally and with the USA.
Hernandez, Huskers Illustrated. Dave, what did you learn about the transfer portal during this offseason? Because you lost a number of players, but also you rebuilt your team through that. What was that experience like to rely on that so heavily?
Well, it started out not very good, and then it got better, is how I would describe it. But quite honestly, I was just floored by what happened at Purdue, to be honest. Didn't see it coming, so call me whatever you want. But we just didn't see it coming. And so it hit really hard and took a while to recover, but we did. And Purdue means a lot to me. I was a high school volleyball coach running a club out of Muncie, Indiana, helping run a club out of Muncie, Indiana. And Morgan Burke gave me an opportunity to coach at Purdue University in the Big Ten, and it's been an unbelievable ride. And we have players like the two to my left that love Purdue University. They will die for Purdue University. And I needed to be, part of their program and be part of their lives and give back to them like our staff always has. And then after a couple of days of feeling sorry for myself, I got up and got on the telephone, and the portal then became very, very good, because who I thought were the 5 best players that were on the portal said they'd love to come to Purdue, and sight unseen come to Purdue. But what I've learned is that it's the game we're playing, and don't be surprised if something similar happens again, and it's going to happen at a lot of different schools, no matter how good the program or how bad the program. It's going to continue to happen. I think it's in the best interest of the players, but that can be discussed for a long time. But right now, that's what's happening, and I think the revenue sharing aspect of it is going to come into play a lot more than what it has in volleyball so far. Once people find out that there's money out there, good news is we're going to be a player in that, which is nice. Purdue has shown great respect for our program, is going to give us the necessary funds, I think, to be really successful on the portal. Thank you.
Abby Harris, Go Big Redcast. On a similar topic, or that same topic, Kenna and Taylor, I think it's easy sometimes to think of the negatives that come with having such a new team with all these new players, transfers, freshmen. But can you guys talk about some of the positives that you've experienced that have come from having these new players join your team?
Yeah, I think it's been really cool to see, everyone coming from a different situation, and they're coming into this this new situation. Everybody's come in with such a positive mindset and energy, and I think it's just kind of a refresh for everybody, depending on their situation. So I think that's a huge positive, because it's like a reset, and I've been able to see that in the spring, this past spring, and in the summer. And I think it's just been refreshing for us too, as returners, to get some of that new energy.
Yes, like Kenna was saying, it was like a refresh. Like, we had trust in our coaches, and they recruited amazing people that I call my best friends. So it's been a joy to get to play with them all spring and through the summer, and I'm excited to play with them this fall.
So you mentioned Muncie. How about your brother getting back in it and going to work for Sheffield? Thoughts about that?
Yeah, really excited for John. Anybody that's ever been coached by John or watched John in a gym understands what an incredible human being he is, and what a great coach that he is. And these two could speak on that as well as I can, okay? And, he was with the Indianapolis Ignite, Indy Ignite, I guess, was the squad, the pro team, and they loved him down there. And but when Kelly Sheffield, who many people don't know, Chef and John went to high school together and have known each other for a long, long time. John was the All-American player. Chef was the guy that was just kind of working at a local bar and coaching with Sienna, and taking his time graduating from college. And then Chef got serious about it, and he's a really smart guy. But he reached out to John when he knew that one of his assistants was going to move into a different position. And John was ready to get back into the college game, and so that will be it'll be fun to watch those two. And luckily, we just play them one time this year. It'll be in Madison, but that will be a fun opportunity. But really happy for John. Super, super happy for John.
You got one story, one Kelly John story.
I'm not going to share that. I'm not going that deep. I've already gone deep enough. That's it.
Bridgestone Arena, Cambridge Fieldhouse, 3 matches in Mackey. Just you get to play in these venues that hold 15 to 20,000 people. What does that say about the prestige of your program, and then the growth of volleyball as a sport overall?
Yeah, I just think it speaks about the growth of our game more than anything else, and what's happened in the last couple of seasons, led by Nebraska and John Cook's journey that has helped lead that cause. It takes people like Cook. Sheffield's been similar. My father, Dr. Don Shondell, was probably the pioneer of all of that growth, at least in the Midwest. And we want to be a part of that, and we're excited that we're going to get to play. And you didn't mention Hinkle Fieldhouse and Worthen Arena at Ball State and Pauley Pavilion and different places. So it will be a fun year. providing we can win our share of those. It won't be fun getting beat in those places, I can promise you that. But I think if we compete, it will be fun. And just to sit back and, at this stage in my career and see the sport continue to explode the way that it has, it just brings a certain amount of joy. And I hope that our players understand that it wasn't always this way. I mean, that's kind of what they've grown up in, club volleyball going crazy, now college athletics, doing what it is doing for the sport of volleyball. I hope that all of these athletes can appreciate what people before them did to get to where we are now. Yeah.
For the players, where are you looking forward to playing this season?
I'm definitely looking forward to playing in Mackey Arena again. It was an amazing experience, and it's going to be the same, I'm sure, this year. And then I'm also looking forward to playing our rival in Cambridge.
I'm also excited for Mackey Arena. Last season, I had chills running out, so I'm just excited to have almost 15,000 of our fans supporting us for 3 matches instead of 2 last year.
Dave, there was a waiver that came out where you could start practices earlier than you were originally scheduled to. How much did that alter your plans, and what benefits could that possibly bring? Did it alter your plans?
No, it altered everybody was planning on starting a week later. And then because there was AVCA, I think, and I think they may have sponsored both those events, the NCAA gave a waiver to those to start a week early. And then if you're like me, you're standing around, well, why are they getting away? They're already getting to play in the matches on national TV. That's kind of an advantage already. Now they're getting, 5 or 6 extra days. And so I was one that felt like that they need to look at that and either eliminate that extra week for them or compromise or add an extra week, and they added an extra week. So everybody's starting at the same time. So we certainly had people that had made plans. One of them's on the stage right now. And I think she said she was shedding a tear when she sent me a text because she was planning on going home to spend some time, which most of these kids will do. They're here all summer. They want to go home and get a little bit of a relief from what's going on here before they come back and go through the grind. But everybody just kind of adjusted their schedule and made those trips, maybe 5-6 days earlier. As I told them, nobody needs those 7 days more than we do. I mean, we're going to make those 7 days more valuable than anybody else in the country. So that's what our approach has to be, is that we need them. We got 10 new players on our roster. Nobody thinks we're going to be any good. We need those days. So we're going to try to take advantage of it.
That was you had to change your plans. What did you have to do to accommodate?
I just moved my flight a week earlier, but I'm pretty dramatic sometimes. And I was just thinking no, I can't eat all my favorite foods. But I went home last Wednesday and I got back yesterday. So I'm all good, ready for the season.
Ken and Taylor, where as a team and then individually, where's the biggest areas of improvement before that first match?
Yeah, I think kind of like Dave was saying, I think more experience, more time with each other. I think we have to, learn each other, learn how to play with one another, just with all the change and all the new. And then individually, I want to become more of a 6 rotation outside. So consistency with that and being able to play both back row and front row.
Yeah, I would say just getting to be with each other more on the court, and that's very important for me as a setter. I'm only really setting Kenna again with all of our hitters, so working on those connections will be very important.
Yeah, Taylor, what has that transition been like when there are so many new arms and tendencies and preferences for you to learn?
I would say I'd probably had to been more intentional during practice and really communicating and not just setting the ball and not talking to my hitters on what they need. So I feel like I am a perfectionist, and I feel like it's kind of gone up another level to make sure my connections are perfect.
Dave, you mentioned that expectations maybe are a little bit lower this year than they have been in the past. Still, top half in their preseason poll of the Big Ten. But does that add pressure to you guys, or is that kind of a freeing feeling of people don't really expect us to be good, so let's just go out and prove them wrong?
I haven't thought about the level of pressure yet. We've had a few other things to try to get organized with, but our expectations will remain very high. I can guarantee you that. I also realize we don't have some of the same players that we had a year ago. It's going to take some time. So there has to be a certain level of patience, but I'm not a very patient person. So we're going to push really hard, and we're going to demand an awful lot, and we're going to practice hard, but we're also not going to kill anybody while we're doing it. Having healthy bodies is a big part of the success. There have been a lot of years we haven't had a lot of people that could really play at our level, so they had to all stay healthy. We probably have more balance. If our team walked in right now, you'd be pretty impressed by looking at them. There's a lot of really good athletes that can jump and can swing and can do a lot of good things. They just haven't played a lot of volleyball, and certainly not a lot for us, although we have some that have, okay? And these two can play. These two kids right here can play the game, and I think people will find that out eventually. Yeah.
I want to ask Coach and Taylor about Kenna as the top returner in terms of kills per set, but the kind of jump that you can see her making this year. She talked about working toward being a 6 rotation outside and really using that connection that you guys have.
I'm excited for everyone to see Kenna. I have a lot of faith in her, and I would say all of our teammates, like this is our go-to girl, and I'm excited for her to be able to flourish this season, and I really want her to believe in that she can do it, and she will. Thanks.
Any other questions for Purdue? All right, go for it.
You had the chance in the spring to play against your son. That matches on the schedule for this fall.
Right.
So what was that first experience like, and then what's the experience like for not just you, but your entire family?
Yeah, I think playing in a real match in the fall will be a lot different than playing at an exhibition spring match. But it will be a lot of fun to go to Hinkle Fieldhouse. If you're not from Indiana, then you may not recognize the value of Hinkle Fieldhouse. But if you're a basketball guy like I am, you know what Hinkle Fieldhouse represents. And then my son is trying to build a program there, and he's doing a great job. He's working hard. He's got the best team that he's had this year. But we don't plan on holding anything back that day. Every win is so critical. They're all so critical. And they'll be good enough to beat us if we don't play well. So we're going to have to be ready to go. But I'm sure it will be a big family affair. Most of my family is in the Indy area right now, but it'll be great. I think it'll be great for Butler, for us to be there. They're already, marketing that match. And I think Indianapolis, the Boilermakers in Indianapolis will come out and support that. So I think it will be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to that one. Yeah. Yeah. We did that in the spring match one time, many years ago, but yeah.
They didn't get that reference?
They had to learn it. They had to learn that, yeah.
Kenna has taken, Dave, this question's for you. Kenna has taken on a lot of different roles throughout her time here, switching positions from outside and going to the right. So what does that say about her adaptability moving forward?
Well, it says more just about who she is, that she was willing to adjust to whatever was going to be best for our team. She's a born left side hitter, but the last 2 seasons she was playing on the right side where she had very limited experience, but she is a terrific athlete, and she was able to learn that. And even as a freshman, she did a really nice job playing out there. But this past year, with Grace Heaney not being available, she was locked in. Did anybody ever play? Oh, I guess one player played a little bit out there. But basically, she was out there 98% of the time and developing shots. And she's a really, really good blocker, which we're going to need on the left side because we got eaten alive at times over there. And so we're going to be a little bit bigger, more physical in that position. But she's a great athlete. I mean, she didn't just play volleyball all her life. She did some other things, and I think that's helped her, become the kind of player she is. But now she's going to have to pass and play defense and swing and block and serve and all those things, which she can do really, really well. And but mostly she's the epitome of who we try to have at Purdue. Okay, it's not about her. It's never, ever been about her. It's been about us. And so we're looking forward to that. her now stepping into a more valuable leadership role, okay, where people can see how things are supposed to be done.
All right, I think we're about out of time. Purdue, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next up here, nice and early, even prompt especially, the Indiana Hoosiers head coach Steve Aird, Averie Tatum, and Ava Vickers here. Coach, we'll allow you to open up with an opening statement, then we'll open up to questions. And again, as a reminder, state your name and affiliation, please.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Good afternoon. Might start a little bit untraditionally, but if you know me, this is how I roll. I want to start by congratulating the Penn State Indy Lions and my close friend Katie Schumacher on an amazing year. Katie and I were freshmen together at Penn State, and from day one of campus, one of my great friends in life and just someone I love and adore. So I'm proud of her. I'm proud as an alum. Congratulations to them. I'm not here, and I think Katie would say the same thing, without Russ Rose being Russ Rose. So whenever I come to Big Ten events, Big Ten volleyball events, it's important for me to remind people of the best to ever do it. So I miss him. On that note, and I thought about this walking in the door, so many of these unbelievable coaches are moving on to new chapters. So whether it's John moving on, or Mary Wise, or Coach Rose, Coach Shoji, none of us would be here without incredible commitments from people who were driving minivans with tank tops and trying to find hotel rooms for players in the 70s and 80s and whatnot. And so much of what these athletes are exposed to today and get to do, comes from so many people who worked so hard for so many decades for this to be the case. So I just wanted to maybe say a universal thank you. I look in the Big Ten head coach's room, and it's young and it's exciting, but none of us would be where we are without those people being who they were, and the athletes that have worked so hard to make this what Big Ten volleyball is now. To Indiana, this is the most aligned, program deep, top to bottom group of people that I've been around since 2013 when I won a championship at Penn State. The coaching staff is exceptional. The team, and these guys will tell you, they were there all June, all July working. We have depth. We've got fantastic talent. Recruiting has gone exceptionally well. And again, full credit to my staff, Rachel Morris and Kevin Hodge and Matt Kearns, and those guys working to evaluate talent and recruit. We've had a couple good years. I think we're right at the beginning of what's going to be a pretty impressive stretch for the next 3 or 4 years, and I couldn't be more proud to do that. To the administration, obviously, Scott Dolson and Jeremy Gray and President Pam Whitten, they care about volleyball. Indiana cares about volleyball. It's why it's exciting to go to work. And then finally, just to the Big Ten, a thank you to everyone involved from Commissioner Petiti on down. They care about volleyball, and you guys can tell. And it's really, really invigorating to be part of it, and to be a small part of it, and to be excited to get into the year. So with that, we will open things up, take some questions, and appreciate you guys being here with us today.
Questions for the Hoosiers?
I think it's a fantastic opportunity for, the question was playing in venues like Mackey and in Cambridge and whatnot. It's exceptional. The opportunity to compete in places that have 14, 18,000 people. There are venues in the Big Ten that are certainly daunting when you see the crowds, but for us, we want to develop professionals. Over the last 2 or 3 years, we've churned out 6, 7, 8, 9 kids who have now played in professional leagues all over the world. We want to continue to do that. That's an opportunity to see and feel what pro is, And luckily, because of the state, volleyball has been so good for so long. Purdue has been so good for so long, and Dave's done an unbelievable job of having a great program. We're aspiring to get there. When I took the job, they were dead last in the Big Ten. We're better. We're not where we want to be, but we're getting there closer and closer. And I anticipate certainly both matches to be highly competitive, and a great opportunity for young people to show up and see volleyball on that type of stage, and to see role models like these two and aspire to be them one day.
Gillian Grandcast. So speaking of these two as role models, can you talk about the decision that went into bringing Ava and Averie, and then Ava and Averie? What is it like to represent Indiana volleyball here at Media Days?
I'll let you guys start.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly means so much to us. Me especially, I'm from Indiana. I'm from Fishers, Indiana. So being able to, one, not only play here at a school that is in my home state, but one, be able to represent it in this kind of light really just means the world for me. So I'm super grateful for the opportunity to be here.
To be able to transfer to a program that brought me in and made me feel like I'm at home has been awesome, and then it's great to come here and then return the favor and represent the team like I should.
For us, it was pretty straightforward. We've got a lot of new faces. I think the conference will learn. We have some really neat new players, but these two, especially over the last 6 to 8 months, have done such an amazing job of bringing in the young people and getting them up to speed on just life. They're better human beings than they are volleyball players, and they can both flat out play, so that should tell you something. I enjoy seeing them every single day. It's fun going to work and being around kids that are excited and fired up and love what you're building and want to be part of what you're building, and they've been that the whole way. And for me, Russ had a great line that he said he wanted to recruit players with character, but also characters. And so I need people with, Abe's a little spicy at times, and I see a lot of myself from my playing days in her. And, this one to my left has got she DJs, she models, she's got a clothing line that just probably sold 10 million units on social media. So, they're just really, really unique human beings. And every single day we talk about a lot of stuff that almost never comes back to volleyball. It's business, it's life, it's family. And we consider each other that, and it's been pretty cool.
Steve, I imagine the worst reputation to have than recruiting national champion beach players to come join your program. How did your experience with Delaney impact, or did it impact what you were looking for in Jessie, and what does she bring to the game?
I was going to make a dig about being from Toronto, and there's not a lot of beach volleyball in the winters, but actually beach volleyball in Canada is awesome, so I can't really make fun of myself. A lot of this comes back, I think, to my staff. So it's Rachel Morris, it's Kevin Hodge, it's their relationships in California. I was out there for 4 years with my wife, and we lived in Newport Coast, so we got to know a bunch of people. But I think it's all relationship driven. And a lot of these kids that play and have that fifth year are interested in maybe kicking the tires. Delaney was one of the best passers in the conference and maybe the country, and had a great feel. I haven't spent a lot of time with Jess Smith yet in the gym, for obvious reasons, but we're pretty excited to see what she brings to the table. There is a maturity to it. I mean, these are full-blown women that, 22, 23 years old, who have been around the block. They know how to win. They've been part of championship culture. They're very selfless. It's an amazing thing where they have a partner in beach, and you're to serve your partner, and it's really that. But those skills, those soft skills, transfer, and they become very quickly leaders in their own space. They're authentic, confident. So for me, yeah, it's a great fit. And when you're as young as you are, because we bring in a lot of young people, having a couple North Star humans in your program, that's the one thing that people miss a lot when you're talking about building programs. The Penn States, the Nebraskas might have been good for 40 years. They've always had that. Programs that are building and trying to find it need some people who do it right. They come early, they stay late, they're good people, they take care of their bodies, they're invested, they watch film. Some things that might be taken for granted are things that these guys do. So these guys do it. Jess will do it. Delaney was phenomenal. And I think the more leadership you have, better you're going to be.
Coach, you spoke about this a bit in your opening statement about the kind of momentum you feel around the program right now with 3 straight non-losing seasons, first time since 2010. What do you feel like is going to elevate this team even more? And especially looking at the fact that have that foundation of Cameron Hayworth at the setter position, and how that continues to be a transition too.
Yeah, in business, it's kind of the pinwheel. So you have a product or something, then people like it and they buy it, and then it goes, and then more products and more. It's the same thing with building this company. So you want to bring in good people. You want people to attend. You want the community to be excited. That starts to happen. You recruit better players, have more success, and the thing starts to pinwheel. Where we are now is, I think, right at the beginning of another cycle where we're going to make another jump. So much of it is depth. I think in the past we've had fantastic players, but an injury here, an injury there, and we were in real trouble. I don't feel that way this year. I feel like if we have an injury, we have enough depth to sustain a very high level of play. And my gut is that the practice environment will be as competitive as it's been in a really long time, certainly maybe since my Penn State days. So I feel really, really good about what's happening. They're the right kind of kids. You know, they're really, really good people. They care a ton about what we're doing. They're grateful. And I think these guys will tell you that. So we talk about that every day. We want to play hard and play fast. We want to develop pros. We know what our identity is. We know the type of person we want in the program. And we've, again, thanks to my staff and their hard work, we've drilled that.
Another newcomer, Charlotte, how excited are you to see her back on the court after everything she's been through in the recovery process? And how are you able to support her through her recovery to get into Indiana?
Yeah, her story is remarkable. And for those in the room that don't know, Charlotte Vincent a year ago had an infection and almost lost her life. So I was at the hospital with the family. We didn't know if she'd make it through the week or the day. She's full go. She's been in camp. She's training. I think the girls will tell you she can flat out play. Obviously well trained and well coached. But the thing for me, it allows me some perspective because you get caught up in it and it's hard. And what we do is hard and we're chasing great. And it's a hard thing to do. And then you see her and you remember there's a lot more to life. So there's a perspective every day when I'm around her. Now, listen, she's competitive and she's chippy and her game, you know, and her personality when she plays is one thing, but she has such an appreciation for things that we all take for granted all the time. And I think that's certainly at key points in the season. That's going to be an amazing lesson for all of us. Obviously, thank God she's with us, and she's going to be a really good player for a long time.
Players want to add anything to that too?
She's just a stud, and I'm so happy that she's with us.
Being able to play with her in high school, she was actually on the same team with me. I was a senior, and she was a sophomore, I believe. And just being able to see how her game's evolved and even just how her as a person has evolved has been just so amazing. And I'm just so excited to see what her future holds for her.
On a very related note, he's bringing in 6 or 7 freshmen, a huge freshman class. Averie, can you talk about the energy in the gym and maybe how all of those freshmen push you guys to be better?
Yeah, the energy right now is awesome. They came in just hungry, honestly. They want to work, they want to compete. I think being surrounded by not only players that want that, but also freshmen who want that. It's their first couple months in the gym and they're already have this level of compete inside of them. I think it just makes us even more excited for what the future holds being with them.
It's been super competitive and a lot of fun, and I think it's really good for us to have freshmen that are hungry and ready to play. It pushes us returners a lot more to be better for them and be better for us, and I think it's been an amazing environment to be in, and I'm really excited.
Ava, Coach talked about all the things that you have going on outside of volleyball too. Take us through some of that. What motivates you to really establish a different kind of brand for yourself too, taking on different things, the entrepreneurial spirit as well?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times with college athletes, they feel like the sport is kind of their personality. And for a long time, I always thought that when I was young playing volleyball, that was kind of who I was. But I kind of decided to branch out a little bit when I got to college and figure out the things that I really do love. And a big part of me is fashion and clothes and business. So this past winter break, actually, I got to work on starting my own clothing brand. It's called Project U. I launched it a couple months ago. It's hoodies, and the whole line of it is basically just to show that you're the greatest project you will ever work on. And I knew that when starting this clothing brand, I wanted it to mean something to people. There's a logo, people will wear logos, but I feel like representing a message means so much more. And to be able to actually start this brand really just proved to myself that I can truly do what I put my mind to. So it's been so fun, and being able to balance that with volleyball, I've been trying to figure out, and I think that when starting it, that was kind of the reason why I was a little bit hesitant starting it, was because, it's a high level of volleyball, high level of training, time management is difficult, but I think I'm getting there about figuring out how to manage both. But I've just been so grateful to have the support system I have with this brand, honestly.
And even on a different note, you've also dealt with some injury in your career too. Just how are you feeling overall coming into this season and your level of excitement going forward?
Yeah, injury is always difficult. I feel like a lot of athletes, when they go through injury, they look at it in more of a negative light, like thinking about how much it sucks to not be able to be in practice or lifts or workouts, but I try to view it in a way that would benefit me when I was coming back from my injury. I try to view it as I can get better at other skills that don't necessarily require my athletic ability. I try to be a better leader for the team, a better teammate to people, or even a better coach to other girls in my position. So I think by going through this injury and learning all those other skills about myself that weren't necessarily directly attached to my athleticism because of my injury, it makes me a lot better going into this coming season, knowing that I've learned all of those skills.
Coach, directing a question at you. I mentioned Cameron Hayworth, but one of the more notable setters, and it feels like there's a new influx coming in. How does that process work, especially once you start to finally hit practice, about getting those reps, that acclimation of that person stepping into a new role?
Well, we'll have 3 setters on the roster starting this season, 2 of which have been in the system and understand and can play at a very high level. We feel very good about them. We're adding a young lady from Serbia, Teodora Krakovic, who is one of the better players at her position, certainly in Europe. Captain the national team, understands how to win. They just won the European qualifier, beating Bulgaria in Sofia. So she's very, very good, but I really don't know system yet. I don't know enough about the team. I think a lot of it just seeing how the young people kind of put the pieces in place. I guess my job will be harder for the best possible reasons because we have depth. Cameron was a phenomenal player and a really neat kid, and she's gone on to play beach at Florida State. So back to Lincoln's earlier thing, we're trading the other way. We're giving Cam to the beach game for a year, and my gut is she'll be awfully good there. So a lot of coaches have systems. I've always just believed in players. I think players beat systems, and I think you find the best players that you can, and you find out what they do well, and you try to get that to mesh, and then for them to play hard and have a competitive fight and spirit together, and that's what I believe will be part of the success.
Back here, yeah.
Jake Haley, Sports Philanthropy Network. For the players, how have you guys been involved within the community and doing activities to build that relationship with the Bloomington area and your fans?
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot easier nowadays with the NIL being an option. I feel like we've had some really great local businesses that have wanted to work with us and us with them, and a lot of times it isn't even an NIL transaction. It's just genuinely our love for a lot of these local companies. I think also when it comes to just going to school here at IU, we build relationships with professors and students on campus and just try to be the best representation of IU volleyball outside of the court to be able to have the best fan and best environments inside of the court.
Also going along with that, we do kids camp all through July, and I think it's really important for us to kind of just be big role models for all those little girls. And I think when we are in the gym with them, I think being the best person that we possibly can so then we can be good role models for them has been super important. So July is really important for us when it comes to the program and inspiring those little girls.
Steve, how has the house settlement impacted your roster management, revenue sharing, and things above and beyond NIL? How has that impacted how you're doing your roster management?
Yeah, it's changed dramatically. I think, even if you go back to 5 to 10 years ago, how you think about building a program, the transfer portal, the house settlement, rev share, all of these things for a lot of coaches, and kind of my nod to the coaches before us, many of them didn't get into this for that. So I understand that. I really like it. I have a business law degree. I wanted to be an agent. I'd like to be in a front office one day. For me, this makes a lot of sense. I want all of my players to feel valued. These two, I think, would hopefully agree that the team, everyone on the team is seeing something, and we're doing a really good job of getting it to them. Indiana cares. They're supporting us. We're going to be able to take care of our players. I want the players to make money. I feel like every single day, though, there's a different, you read an article here and an article there, and I consume a lot of it just to try to be ahead. But, the goal is, can you give them the best possible experience that you can? in a lot of ways, some of the programs in our conference might be more the Yankees, and we might be a little bit more like Toronto or a little bit more like Milwaukee, but doesn't mean you can't win the whole damn thing. So I think it's about doing it the right way, taking care of people. We also comes back to we want to take care of them as people, and they're going to make money, but I want them to make money for 40 years, and I want to set them up. I mean, I send more stuff to Ava about business than I do volleyball. And I'll wake up at 4 o'clock and it'll be a Louis Vuitton something. And I'm like, this is for her. And there's some marketing thing. So you're trying to get them to be aligned and figure it out. And there'll be challenges, especially developing retention. Players will have opportunities. And I think that's also good. I want players who want to play at Indiana. And the players who want to be at Indiana, I want to do everything I can to take care of them.
Any last questions for the Hoosiers? All right, perfectly on time again. We're all set. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. All right, final stop in this room today, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I'm going to open it up to Coach first. And of course, we have here new head coach, Danny Busboom Kelly, Rebecca Alec, and Harper Murray. We'll allow you to get an opening statement. We'll open it up to questions. Please state your name and affiliation, and also hold your mic close to your mouth. It's okay. It's all right. Last one's best one. We'll get underway.
Well, really grateful to be here. Being my first Big Ten Media Days is just exciting to be at a place and a conference that appreciates our sport and is continuing to push the level of where we want to go. And, we had an awesome spring season with these young women, and just really looking forward to starting in a few short days, and a lot of decisions to be made, but exciting ones.
Hi, Abby Harris, Go Big Redcast. Danny, I'll ask you first. You've coached against Big Ten teams while at Louisville, but what do you anticipate is going to be the difference moving from a few Big Ten teams to the entire conference of the Big Ten?
I think just from top to bottom, obviously probably the strongest conference in the country, and you might get by one opponent one night, but then you have another great opponent the next night. There's some back-to-back matches, which I think is a little bit unique, where we're playing Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, so there's really no rest time. That creates a much tougher prep schedule of getting ready for an opponent. But I think that the travel piece is it's also a challenge when you think about going all the way out to the West Coast and then all the way to the East Coast. So being in Nebraska, we arguably have to travel the furthest. I don't know if that's exactly true, but close to the furthest, both sides of the coast. So I think those three things are going to be the biggest differences.
Lincoln O'Neill, Huskers Illustrated. Rebecca, you talked about this a little bit in the spring, but it's your senior year. Has that sunk in fully now at this point too? And how are you approaching your last go around with the Huskers?
Yeah, no, it definitely has not fully sunk in. There have been a lot of opportunities for me to reflect, but honestly, I'm just trying to live in the moment. I think I just want to play free, honestly. I've had a few conversations with the staff that I don't really care for the accolades. I feel like, All-American, and even like the national championship, like those things it's just a product, versus the actual journey is where the joy is at. And I just want to enjoy it. And I have a lot of growth I need to do. So I just feel like the way that I'm approaching the gym now is I'm thinking long term, and how I can just be of service to my teammates, regardless of the moment or what role I'm needed. I want to be able to serve that and serve it well. But yeah, I don't think it's fully sunken in. I've had like a few conversations. I'm like, oh wow. So yeah.
Don't get emotional. I know. We find swap from 900 square feet. Danny, I got to ask you about Virginia, the Italian player. How did you find her, and how did you, for lack of a better term, convince the NCAA that you could bring in a fourth-year pro who's so accomplished, of that stature? How did that work? Because there are so many other instances before this brave new world of the NCAA, though, where something like that could never have happened.
Well, she was being recruited before I even got to Nebraska, so I certainly didn't find her or go over to Italy and recruit her. That was already in the works. And I think the NCAA used the same approach they always do is, what was she getting paid and how long is she, what's her age? And so they deemed that she's eligible for 3 years. And so we're going to take that. I know she's really excited for this new experience and a new culture and a new challenge.
You guys have been in the gym with her, I'm sure. What kind of player is she and what's she like?
Yeah, she's a joy. She's super fun. More quiet in her regular nature, but she's definitely come out of her shell a lot. She's actually quite a jokester as well. I think she's quite funny. But yeah, I think she's a great blocker. I love her range. There's this one-line shot that my campers actually watched and they kept talking about the next day. So she's got a lot of range as an attacker and blocker.
Yeah, she's the sweetest girl ever. I always have a million questions for her about what it was like in Italy and how living there was different, playing there was different. But she's also, I think, our team does a really good job of opening the floor to let people be themselves and feel welcomed. And I know we've talked about that a few times. So I think she's really been able to come out of her shell faster than she expected.
Dan, I think I saw you made the comment, 3 biggest things you do are have a child, move, and start a new job. Do you feel like you're settled in Nebraska? You're ready for the season ahead? You've had time to really kind of settle your life, outside life down?
Yes, I feel like I got out of the trenches a couple weeks ago of the newborn trenches, and so now it's time to focus on this season and this team. And I'm just really, again, grateful is a common theme here, but the team has been amazing. The staff has been amazing with this transition, and there are times, I was talking to, Bergen, who was our summer captain. I'm like, I would have helped more maybe in the past when I wasn't giving birth. So I think they've really understood it, though, and given me some grace in this new role. So I'm excited for us to fully be together and present and in the moment here in a few days.
Coach Nick Sayer with 93.7 The Ticket in Lincoln. Hey, you mentioned in your opening statement you have some decisions to make, and there's a lot of things that you have to decide on in the near future. With the opportunity of the First Serve tournament being played in Lincoln, how much can you learn about your team in just those first couple of matches against Pittsburgh and Stanford that weekend?
Oh, we're going to learn a ton, and that's the beauty of that First Serve is you're playing early, but you're playing great competition and teams that typically return a good amount of talent. So we're going to be pushed right away. We're going to be allowed to make some changes right away, see kind of what sticks for this team, and learn about maybe some players that haven't been in those type of situations. A big chunk of this group has been in the national championship games, so that's not much more pressure than that. But how can we learn as fast as we can about some of the new players? So it gives us the opportunity to do that.
Abby Barmer with Husker Online. This is for all of you, but first, Danny, you said that Bergen's going to be your captain this year. What's the process? How much coaching input and how much player input goes into that? And then for all three of you, why is Bergen deserving of that role?
Well, she was voted our summer captain, so I'm sorry if I misspoke. We'll reevaluate our captains after 2 days when everybody's been together. We added 4 new pieces, so the Bergen was voted after the spring season. But regardless, she's an awesome leader. I think she's one of our most consistent players. She is super competitive, but she also is very empathetic, in my opinion, and she really works really hard to understand her teammates, which I think makes her a really good leader. But we're going to have a player vote like we always do, and in the spring the coaches didn't vote, but coaches will get a vote moving into the fall. So captains might change, might not. We'll see.
Nate Johnston with Channel 8 in Lincoln. This is for Rebecca and Harper, but obviously Merritt and Lexi meant a lot to you guys last year, a special relationship. And for Rebecca, being that senior now, what does that mean to be the leader? And for Harper, the relationship between you and Lexi, how do you find, not that you don't have great bonds with the players, but how do you find those bonds with your team?
Yeah, I think just, in any community, in any group, typically the oldest in the room, they kind of do set the tone. And like she talked about, the girls will get to decide who gets the title for captain. But there is also a responsibility in being a senior and keeping the culture alive. And it's other intangibles. And I've noticed that I've had a call on just like the way that I interact with my teammates, intense moments. I'm a very intense individual, especially in the gym. And I think just with some of the younger ones, just one, like them having to step to the plate, but also like meeting them where they're at. And so I've had a couple, and I'll probably will have more conversations on knowing the moment and knowing the individual. And yeah, I think it's just a lot of character development and leadership skills development coming in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we have 17 people on our team this year. I don't know about Becca, but that's the biggest team I've ever been on, and I'm on the older end of it now. So this spring, we really just focus on our relationships and how we can get to know each other better, because we have 6 freshmen, and then we have Virginia, and then Allie coming in as a transfer. So with so many people, you have to figure out one way to make it work, and that's kind of our goal right now. And as upperclassmen, it's our job to hold that culture and hold that team tradition alive, because we know the expectation and we know what to expect and we know what needs to happen. So we have to teach the younger girls what to do and how to help them and guide them. So anything that they need from us, they know that the door is always open, but as upperclassmen, it's really on us to keep things moving.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for the players, who are you most excited to go up against in the alumni match?
Oh, that's a good question.
We've been giving Kelly a hard time recently. She's been playing with us a little bit at open gyms just for fun, and we really want her to go all out. Like, we want the high socks, the spandex, we want everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if she's going to do it. But I'm really excited to play against Kelly for real this time, because she hops in a few times at practice, and then Jordan would be exciting. Yeah. And then Allie, too. I haven't seen Allie in a few months, and I know she's killing it in beach right now, so it's going to be fun to see her back indoor. But honestly, all of them, but I would say Kelly and Allie the most.
Yeah, that's hard to say. I don't know. They're all incredibly talented, and I feel like, I played with Allie, but I feel like she's a whole nother beast now, having a season of pro under her belt. So, yeah, I don't know if I have one specific individual.
Tali, right here. Oh. There's a post, so sorry.
Harper, you had hosted a camp last week. I think there were 600 people in the first session, and probably the same a couple other ones, and you went to a tournament in Chicago. I mean, what do you enjoy about getting to interact with the next generation and young people, put on events like that and get to, I don't know, be a role model? Do you consider that? What do you consider part of that?
Sometimes I take it for granted, for sure. Someone asked me at the camp if I went to camps like this growing up, and my answer was no, and I didn't realize that I hadn't really gone to anything like that, because back home in Michigan, I didn't have people like Jordan Larson and Andy Jackson and Lexi to look up to like that. So I took it for granted for a while, but when I'm able to do those camps and see how many little girls just don't even really care about the volleyball, they just want to be in our presence and give us a hug. We got 1 million hugs that day. So it's super sweet, and it warms my heart. It fills my bucket for sure, because that's, at the end of the day, that's my goal. I want to give back, and I want volleyball to continue to grow, and I'm grateful and appreciative that I've been able to be a face in that. So anything we can do as Nebraska volleyball players to help grow the sport and grow our own brand, like, I'm willing to do it. And it was super fun, and we're just grateful that we had amazing sponsors that put that on for us, because it was a really fun 2 days.
Jake Haley with the Sports Philanthropy Network, Harper and Rebecca, you both have been on the Tom Watson citizenship team for the last 3 years. What does that mean to you guys?
Talking about Tom Osborne?
Okay.
Jinx.
Did I say it?
I don't know what you said. I just didn't hear it.
Yeah, we kind of shared a little bit when we were live with Big Ten, but I think it's important to give back to the people who support you. And honestly, like, the relevance of Nebraska volleyball is because of everyday people. And so sometimes it feels like the bare minimum when we give back, but they are always so appreciative of it. I mean, we've had like 30 girls on one court, and they don't care about the actual camp. They just want to like talk to you. And so, yeah, it means a lot to take time and interact with the people who support us.
Yeah, well said. I think it's at Nebraska, we talk about that a lot. We want to give back, and a lot of athletes, I'm sure other athletes are on that list too, but they make it super easy. They make the options for us really easy to go out on our off days or in between classes to go do little things just to give back, whether it's dropping off food or going to a middle school and taking pictures with kids. It's easy stuff that you don't realize how much it means to the other people until it's done.
Mm-hmm. This is for Rebecca and Harper. You guys, obviously, Harper, entering your third year, Rebecca, your senior season. Walk us through the preparation of playing a Big Ten schedule, because the conference has had 6 of the last 8 years representative in the title game match, which is pretty incredible. Walk us through just the general preparation ahead of a season and in the season.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of conversation with our weightlifting coach and with Danny. I think it's important that the players are honest with where we're at, because the expectation is that you're always giving 110%. And so if the body's not up to par, we have that conversation so that we can be in a good position starting competition, because you don't want to be completely dead starting. So it's a lot of conversation and honesty, but I don't know, in my opinion, it's just going hard in the paint. I feel like there's only so much time you have to actually beat up on yourself, because then by the time you're actually in season, you have to have like a load management, because I don't know, when postseason comes around, you still got to kick it up into gear for about 3 or 4 days, and then it's pretty much whatever you have left is what you're going with into postseason. So yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just like a lot of conversations are at play.
I mean, I touched on it earlier. As upperclassmen, we know what to expect. We've done that. We've done it. We've been through it before. So I think a lot of it for this year is just going to be teaching the younger girls and guiding them through the Big Ten season, because it gets to a point where it's really hard. When you're traveling, you miss class, you have missing homework assignments, you don't know what to do because you're leaving the next day, and you get really stressed, and it can get draining. So I think, but that's part of the culture at Nebraska. We want to be there for each other and be there side by side. So I think a lot of it also has to do with the upperclassmen being able to take charge.
This is for Coach. We talked about it before back in Nebraska, but can you reiterate on this stage, what excites you about coaching here, especially with the team that you're bringing back this season?
I'm excited just to get to battle with this team, and it was pretty apparent the first day I came to the gym that this group is really hungry to win, and I think falling short, for 2 years in a row will eat you alive a little bit, and this team is getting eaten alive, and it shows when they play. So I'm excited to see what they can do on the court when we're all together. And of course, being back in Nebraska, it's the fans and the culture and just the game day. I can't wait to have the first game in PBA and again, share this journey with so many people that care so much about it.
Two for Danny. First one, is it strange getting ready to start a season and not be with Dan?
Of course, Dan and I coached together for 8 years, so we were pretty good together. We're a good team, so I'll miss him a lot. But it also was great to leave Louisville in such good hands and know that they're going to be very good as well.
Have you and he compared notes much, in the last, since you left?
No, more talking about non-volleyball things, but a little bit. So I'm sure we'll be bouncing ideas off each other throughout this whole year.
And then the other question Brenda said I had to ask, did the Gucci jacket go with you?
Oh, yeah. That was mine. That was not in Louisville.
Have you done anything with it yet? Like framed it? Or?
No, I did wear it to Keeneland, a horse track once, but maybe it'll come back out this year. Not going to get framed. I'll wear it again.
I'll make an offer anytime.
Did I see a hand over here first? Okay. And then we'll go here, and then back to the middle. And I think that might do it for our questions.
Danny, this is for you, but why did you decide to bring Rebecca and Harper with you to represent Nebraska?
I think it's a pretty big deal to be asked to represent your school, and I thought Becca being a senior and the work she put in this spring was certainly deserving, and I wanted her to get to experience this day before she left. And then I think Harper really embodies a lot of what this team is hoping to accomplish, like get through some hard times and rise up and come out even better than you were before. And I just thought she has done the work and is a great spokesperson for our program. So just thought it was a cool opportunity for both of them.
Sarah Barber, Sporting News. For all three of you, obviously you all knew Coach Cook very, very well, and obviously he spent a very long time leading the program. So I'm kind of curious what it's like for you guys in a first year with a different head coach, but then also for you, Danny, what it's kind of like to enter a program following a coach with such a long, successful tenure.
You start?
You guys can start.
Yeah, you got it. Okay. Well, I mean, it's not a secret that I had a great relationship with John, and I think we were just really lucky to have him as a coach, and then also have him bring someone like Danny in, because
not many programs would be able to bring a coach like Danny in and have everyone stay. We had no one leave, no one go in the portal, and I think that's just a testament to how much we trust John and how much we trust Danny within that. So it's been really exciting, and it's been a learning curve for everyone just because they coach differently. Like, we have different expectations. Things are different on the inside, but at the end of the day, we all just want to win, and we all want to be a team and do it together. So that doesn't change, but there's little things along the way that's going to be a learning curve for sure. And we're not necessarily sure like how the season's going to go yet, obviously. So it's going to be interesting when it gets really hard, how we can rise up and how we can figure that out and get through that together. So we're just really excited and grateful to have Danny.
Yeah, it's definitely been weird. I mean, in a nutshell, like, change is hard, guys. It gets hard. But I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I don't think there is anyone more deserving of this role than Danny Busboom.
Agreed.
I think the timing made sense, the person made sense, and everything. I mean, down to what she believes, to the practice plan. I just feel like what you embody is exactly what we need for this time. And I meant that what I said in her debut conference. Like, my mom loves her, so that means I love her. And it just makes sense, guys. Like, I do believe in divine intervention. I believe that she was placed here at this time for a reason. And yeah, I'm excited. And I am grateful for John. I do miss his sappy jokes sometimes and just his presence. But this was the right thing to do.
Well, for me, I think you're not going to replace John Cook. It's just how can you carry his legacy, and how can you live up to the work he's done to make Nebraska what it is. And I think there's comfort in knowing that, he didn't pick me. Obviously, it was administration's call, but I know he had a lot of say, and it was important for him to get the right person. So there's comfort in that, and I also know that he's just a phone call away, and he'll probably be in Lincoln quite a bit this fall. So we'll be asking him for advice and bouncing ideas off him and talking with him through hard times and good times. But it's just, again, knowing you can't replace him. We got to be ourselves and move on. And we're going to do a lot of the same stuff John always did, but we're going to add a little bit of new stuff too.
Squeeze in one last question.
So they say pressure is a privilege, but Becca, Harper, you guys have talked very publicly about the downsides to that pressure. Can you guys talk as a team what you've done to help keep yourselves grounded coming into this season where there's, as always, if not more pressure than you've had in the past?
I talk about my relationships with my teammates a lot because I feel like at the end of the day, that's what grounds me and that's what I fall back to. And after 2 years ago, like, honestly, I saw the worst of it and nothing can really faze me anymore. And it sucks that was how my story had to go, but that it is what it is, and I'm glad that I was able to come out stronger than that and have my teammates by my side. So now that I'm past that, and I have them by my side no matter what, and even through all the positive stuff, that's what makes it so easy. And for the freshmen, I'm sure that's going to open up a whole world that they have never experienced before, and because we've experienced it, we're going to be able to help them and be there for them. But it's unfortunate that that's where sports has taken things more recently, but at the same time, there's give and take, and we've also had so many cool opportunities and so many cool memories that have come from the growth of volleyball, so we're super grateful for it, but it's definitely something that you have to learn to cope with and find ways that you can push through it, and I do that by leaning into my teammates.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that has kept me grounded is my faith. I love God, I love Jesus, and it's allowed me to love others around me better. And it just reminds me that there's life after college. There's life after your job. Like, there's just a whole nother way to live. And it's allowed me just to play free. I feel like, I don't know, I've really stepped into being myself in these last 6 months. And it's weird. It's like I don't really know what to do with all of it. It's like, oh my gosh, I haven't tapped into this energy since I was in high school. And it's kind of scary, but, I was talking to my mom about it, and she just kept saying, like, you're just getting started. Like, you haven't even hit your potential. And I believe her. And yeah, I feel like just connecting with people in my community and my church, having real hard conversations with the people I'm here with today, like, it has allowed me to just remember what's really important.
Huskers, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.